All right, three, two, one. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 226 of the KBMOD podcast. It is March 6th, 2016. And yeah, we're here. We were here last week. We had some scheduling issues with having enough people to get on the cast. But we are back this week, so don't worry. You didn't miss anything. You just missed us not being here. So we're good. We're back in your
You
ear.
did miss something, but you just didn't miss it on this cast.
Exactly.
You almost certainly missed something else.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to go through life without missing anything. So yeah, okay. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to get sued. So you probably missed something last week, but it wasn't
too
this
broad a
cast.
brush, Scott.
What you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you should see. We actually, okay. Speaking of painting, my girlfriend and I went. This was a while ago. We went to one of these it's like a paint place where you can pick out like a glass or like a cool ceramic figure and then paint on it, and you're supposed to so it's supposed to be artsy, and you pay for you basically just pay for the time, and then you basically get to keep whatever you make, and they'll if you make a glass, they'll put it in the oven and cook it for you, and then you can take it home. So it's supposed to be kind of it can be romantic, it can be bonding, they do parties, you can drink wine at some of these while you do it. And I don't have that creative bone in my body though. I never, even growing up, I didn't even like using crayons.
Sounds like torture.
Yeah, thank you. I think for probably most males, it's not. So anyway, she so we took some glasses to paint. I might actually go. I'm gonna go get. This is gonna be a viewer. This is why you should be on the podcast or
Here
watch
we go.
the podcast live, so that you can actually see this absolute fucking. Maybe we'll put it in the podcast post as a photo because it's a fucking atrocity. But anyway, I just started I had no plan, and I just started using a bunch of different brushes, painting using very wide brush strokes. This is how this is all coming back to what you said, Brandon, and just kind of not having a plan. And then of course my girlfriend's actually making something really legitimate, and she's making a night sky, and it's really coming together. And at one point the woman who's running the whole place comes over and is like, so what you two working on? Just trying to be friendly, right? And so my girlfriend shows hers, and she's it can only it can only be good for business for her to be positive no matter what kind of shit people make, right? And I looking at mine, my girlfriend's already kind of laughed, but is no, but doesn't want me to stop doing it because she's trying to encourage me to do more stuff like this. And obviously just not my cup of tea, but I don't mind doing it occasionally. But so the woman though, my girlfriend shows hers, and she's like, oh, that's cool. And then I show mine, and there's a brief moment where I can tell the woman, even after all her professional, she's a professional, this is her business, she's got to be positive. Her face just there's just a second of absolute total confusion that a 28-year-old could make something so juvenile and look just so terrible. And she's like, oh, that's very interesting. What do you? And I felt I was being talked to I was 3, because it looked like a 3-year-old had made it.
There's that the moment when she looks at your painting, and then she almost says something, but then looks at you and realizes how old you are.
Exactly. That's kind of what it was. It all happened in the span of 2 seconds. So I'm gonna go get my glass and show you what it looks like, guys. But yes, go ahead. Continue with what we've been doing. If anyone has any stories they want to show this week, I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna go get my glass. I said I would never show this, but you know what? At this point, it's at least makes for a good story, and you guys can all laugh at how terrible this is. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all I did this week really was move. You may notice if you're watching live. I mean, maybe you wouldn't notice because it's not it's really that different from my old background. But I'm in a new apartment, so we've been moving all weekend. So I haven't really played many games, but I've been playing the moving game, and I had one interesting situation happen yesterday, which I don't know if this is a normal thing or not. But I guess we can solicit from the audience or from you guys. I don't know if any of you have ever hired movers. So the movers, they're moving out our stuff, and it's fine. And then we load all the stuff up into the truck, so we're out of our old apartment, and then I say all right, you've got the address and stuff, we'll meet you over there, and he says oh, well, we're gonna grab lunch, and so we'll be another 30 minutes, and I was like, wait, so you're gonna grab lunch? But you have all my stuff though, and the new place is only 10 minutes away. He was like, yeah, we're gonna grab lunch. So I sat around. We drove over to our new place, and I sat for an hour while they got lunch. I've never had a mover be like, hey, we need to grab lunch. It's how about you eat beforehand, because I'd like to get this move over with.
I'm just coming back, but Brandon, I know that I didn't hear the beginning of the story, but you sound like a goddamn slave driver when you hire people. Lunch? We don't break for
You don't
water.
get to eat while you're moving my shit.
I mean, that is a little excessive, though. No, they broke for an hour.
It was
like
like,
they should
listen,
just eat and keep going.
they came over at like 9, and then we were done. We were done with the move out part by like 11:30.
Okay,
and so it's
fair.
like, all right, look, moving into the new apartment doesn't take as long as moving out, right? Because they just have to basically put the new stuff in.
Right.
And it's like you can't make it another hour or so.
No, you're
lunch.
totally valid.
Like,
yeah,
and then and it wouldn't have been as big a problem, but then like they actually took like an hour, and I was like, there was a split second there. There's a split second there where I thought like, what if they just left a lot of stuff? I was like, this is their final hurrah. Like they stole the truck, they took all our stuff, and we're never gonna see it again.
I don't blame you actually though, because you hear nightmares about moving companies and stuff like that.
But like that was such a weird thing. I've moved a handful of times, and I've never needed like a lunch break from them in the middle. It's like either bring your lunch and eat it in the truck so that you don't take extra time, or get lunch when you're done. But we got finished at like I think 1 or 2:15. It's like you could have just gotten a late lunch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it by the hour or per job? So like,
no, it's by the hour, of course. But they didn't charge me for that. But it was more just like the fact that I had to just sit in a new apartment that has nothing in it, and just wait
for your stuff to come in.
It's like,
that is really
because it's like I can't go get lunch because you can't get there before me because I got to let you in the new place.
See this place on the coast? I don't know why I'm thinking. I just remember this. There's this place on the coast that will move your stuff, but they will also bring pizza.
That's like smart. That's a good idea.
I've never heard of it, but
I wish these guys would have done that.
They make pizza and they're a moving company. Like it's two things. But yeah, I don't know. That they could have brought some pizza, and this wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, but so anyway, that was like. I just thought that was a little odd, and but otherwise, I mean, the move went fine, and luckily, I'm in. Internet seems solid, and that's really all that's important. I tweeted a picture of my new setup, which is the same as my old setup, just with slightly better cable management. And I have an old PC, or it's not even an old PC, but I have another PC next to me, and I just put both of them under my desk because I have plenty of room, and so it really does look like a command center now. Even though it's just my normal setup.
Brad and I were theorizing what your second PC was for. I said there's one for gaming and one for porn. Would you like to confirm or deny that fact?
I mean, all you really need for porn is hard drive space, so you don't really need a second. That would actually be incredibly cumbersome.
I'm just saying it's a little excessive, but I'm just imagining that like there's some like you're running a custom porn OS that like no one's ever seen. Like I don't know, like it literally launches in and it's just like I just imagine like I don't know, like a TV broadcasting station with like every porn site, but it's all like a live feed of everything being up.
It's like Steam OS. It's like big
it's insane,
mode,
yeah.
Except it's just porn.
Exactly, and you need like a pretty piece. Yeah, you need a dedicated box to just run it because it's actually a lot of information that it's actually processing at any given time.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I mean, I can't confirm or deny if I use it for that, but actually, the only thing I have used that PC for that has been interesting is I've run my own Killing Floor 2 server.
Okay. Yeah.
Which actually, like, because Killing Floor is one of the few games where you basically have to run a private server if you want to have a fun game, because you don't want people constantly jumping in and out and being stupid. Yeah. So I downloaded the Steam files and all of that to set up like a publicly accessible server. So that's the only thing I've really used it for. But there's all sorts of cool things that I could use it for. I just don't. Like, I think about them and then I don't actually do them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, makes sense.
I have an extra PC. If anyone has a great idea for what we should use this PC for, I'm open to hear it.
Okay. I think we should do away with any file. I think we should host the website directly on that box, Brandon. I mean, that would not be any headache at all.
We could do that. It really wouldn't. We'd serve all of KBMOD.com out of my
That's right.
house here.
Out of your office. Yeah. All right. By the way, sorry. Not to switch subjects, but I decided to actually reveal this is the world premiere of the glass that I painted. I'm so okay. So I'm not gonna. I just want you guys to. I want you to say in just a few words what your opinion, what feelings this evokes from you, because this is a true art piece. Before I explain to you what my methods were.
Now,
okay.
One sec. Is there any way you can turn off the black and white?
Yeah. I'm gonna actually hold
Okay.
on.
I feel like color might be a bit
We need
important.
to
for this.
really get in the
Color
mood.
is
here.
I have to
important.
take it all in.
Hold on. Let me. Where's my software? Here we go. All right,
Scott.
settings. What?
Coming into present day.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
narrating.
Oh,
It still
I'm
looks
doing.
the same.
All right,
It
hold on.
still
Advanced
looks like
settings.
I'm watching an old western.
Okay, hold on. Color intensity. Oh wait, no. White
Okay.
balance.
Here we go.
Okay, we had a glimpse into the future.
All right.
Just a taste.
All right.
Oh,
Oh,
I feel like the sun is
I
colliding.
can't even
into
tell
the
if that's
planet.
your real skin color.
Is it doing? Oh my god, it's so bright. Okay.
color
For
of,
some reason, I was previewing it on the delayed on Twitch, and I was like, "It's not changing." Guys.
Here, we got you
Why?
blown up here
All right, here we go. All right,
with the magic of
Okay.
Skype.
That's pretty good.
There we go. Okay. So anyway, so this is the reveal of the class, and this is again. Just keep in
can't
mind
wait.
that the lady saw that what was happening, and then tried to say it was okay. I'm gonna slowly reveal it. I'm gonna slowly reveal.
oh God.
What?
Hey, don't be judgmental. Hold on.
Is that like
Hold on. You'll notice some
Life.
words. You'll
it
notice
says
some
life in the
It says
top?
life, and hold on.
Oh, there's
You'll
more.
also notice that at the bottom, it says, you see death in the bottom left right there?
No.
Wow, that got dark in a hurry.
Now, hold on. Does this look
What?
like a face to you? Because that was supposed to be
very-
a face.
I can see it.
That looks like a white picket fence there at the
Does it
bottom.
have a third? Yeah, I was
Is
thinking
that,
that
is
too.
that like a commentary on traditional America?
Kind of, yeah. So it's supposed to evoke a lot of emotions. The number one emotion is that it's supposed to get you to vote for Donald Trump, which I don't know if it actually does that, but I feel like after people see this art piece, most of the time the reaction is like, well, who the fuck cares? Like, whatever. And I think that's the kind of people that are going to vote for Trump. So I think we're pretty.
And it is. We should, for the audio listeners, this is like it's kind of like a mug. It's like
Yeah,
a large mug.
It's a large mug. Yeah, there's a lot of surface
like a
area.
beer mug kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I don't even know how
looks
to
like-
describe the actual painting. The word life is on it. The word death is on it. And the rest of it, I mean.
Oh,
God,
there's
it looks
also
like
I added the ill. I don't know if you can see that. But
Why? Why?
the word ill.
the ill.
Oh, that's
Wow.
beautiful.
But
It
I'm not
looks
gonna lie,
like-
I've drank from it multiple times. Actually, no, now it's actually a placeholder for dead flowers, so I think that's what my girlfriend makes.
Oh no.
Anyway,
It
all right, I'm gonna
kinda
go put it
looks like
back.
a-
but it was show and tell time.
Wow.
It looks like a pair of oddly deformed
Just-
sharks above
so-
a picket
yeah.
fence.
It's kind of a Picasso, but
Yeah.
yeah.
God.
I
the
don't want to
audio
compare myself to
listeners.
Picasso, but I'll do it. I mean,
Scott's girlfriend came in here and said he ruined what I planned to have a really nice date. Like,
wait, you never told me this. Tab. Wow.
Wow.
Now she'll tell me that I
Wow.
ruined it. I actually
in
tried.
Chat.
Drama
Tell
on the
yourself.
cast.
I'm guessing that me even attempting though, I don't even get points for that. I've drank out of this glass multiple times, so you know what? Listen, I'm gonna go put the dead flowers back in it because that's what my girlfriend thinks of me. After all this, I'll be right back.
Unbelievable. Only on the KBMOD podcast will you get real world drama.
Yeah, we don't have to manufacture drama here.
No. This happens naturally.
So anything else that you guys have done while we wait for Scott?
I kind of wanted to talk about Downfall, but I'll wait until APL gets back. But if you want to talk, Hutch, Brad.
not much has been going on with me. Just school stuff. I've been finishing up. I graduate this spring, so
That's right. You're getting close.
yeah. So I graduate in June. So I'm finishing up some of my senior capstone stuff. I actually had to uninstall some games so I wouldn't like tempt myself to like play and like.
That's really
actually-
smart.
Yeah, I had to honestly. But yeah, I got that going, and so I have one more term left, and finishing up this term right now, and that's what I've been stuck with for the last 2 weeks is just trying to finish up my classes. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's been interesting.
Are we just sharing general life things right now, not gaming related?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So I was away this weekend. I was in Philly to go to a Coheed and Cambria
Oh,
show.
yeah, how was Cody?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. So I've seen them. It's either 6 or 7 times. We were trying to recount. My brother's seen them with me a bunch too. But this was probably my favorite show, mostly because it was a new venue. It's called the Fillmore, it's in Fishtown in Philly. If any of you Philly guys know, right near a casino. But so it's like a newer venue. I hadn't been there. Venue was really nice. Sound was really good. And then so obviously this is like their new album is a departure from the story. Like this is the first album that's just kind of a standalone album. So I didn't know, like Katie, I was like, what's their set list going to be like? You know what I mean? I didn't know if they would just through the new album, which they've, not that they would do the whole thing, but if it would be heavier on that or like old classics and literally every song. So I was like, I mean, In Keeping Secrets is still my favorite probably album of all time. I like a lot of their early stuff. I mean, I like everything Coheed does. I mean, I'm a huge fanboy. But they basically they opened with an acoustic track. I forget what acoustic track off the new album, and then it was In Keeping Secrets. They opened with, and then they played Blood Red Summer. They closed with they did Everything Evil. They did of course they did stuff from Good Apollo. They were all over the place. It was the best set list because it was clearly like a nod. Like the tour was just like, we're gonna play all the stuff that you guys fucking love. Which again, and I love the whole thing, but they played their set list was incredible. It was so good.
Now, one song I was really hoping for, but they didn't play, and I totally understand why they wouldn't play it. Did they play Domino?
They didn't play Domino the Destitute. That would have been super good. But yeah, they didn't play Domino. Yeah,
because that sounds like it'd be really hard to play live.
Yeah. But yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, I was really glad I went. That's awesome. Definitely up there. The set list was awesome.
They're coming through San Francisco later this month, and I was thinking about buying tickets.
You should. I mean, I think you would enjoy it, even if you don't even if you're not a huge fan. Like they have their live show.
I went with my
songs, you would have fun.
Yeah, I went with my brother who hasn't heard a Coheed song in his life, and just seeing Claudio, he's such he's so entertaining,
and
moving around the stage. It's really. He said he had a blast. So
that's good. Yeah,
Brandon, you went to a concert last week, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, tell us.
I forgot. Yeah, I went and saw Megadeth, Children of Bodom, and Suicidal Tendencies.
Damn.
And that was I mean, I don't know if this is interesting to anyone, but I saw it with Mike Ross, who you would not expect to be a rock fan, but he rocks out with me. So
that's awesome.
That concert was excellent, and I've actually never really paid attention to Suicidal Tendencies, but they've been around for a long time, and their fans were pretty hardcore. It was some older people and stuff, but older people who were still in the scene,
in the scene. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, they had as rowdy a crowd as Megadeth did, which really surprised me. So that concert was great. We were down right close to the stage, and it was so good.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a good lineup.
Could you guys talk about what happened in Orlando again? What was that? Extra Life, right?
Yeah, we should talk about Extra Life Orlando because we didn't have a cast last week, partially because of that.
Yes. Extra Life Orlando was fantastic, Brandon. You want me to go for? Well, I'll just talk about from my side. So it was a little bit last minute, as far as just scheduling. I mean, not out of Twitch's fault, because so Twitch offered to send me, and of course I didn't see the email. It was sitting, I think it was in a weird folder or didn't come into my. So Blah hit me up. It definitely didn't hit my inbox. It was spam or something like that, which I have all Twitch emails go to spam, so that's not shocking. But I should at least sort. But no, so Blah hit me up and was like, "Hey man, you want to go Extra Life Orlando?" I didn't really Extra Life United in Orlando. I didn't really know what it was. Kind of started looking into it and got excited about going. So ended up going. Didn't know. So I literally, this is funny because I didn't know who was going. I didn't know any partners that were going. I didn't know any Twitch staff that was going. I just knew that it was an event that basically Extra Life United is an event for. There's a bunch of stuff. There's vendors there, so people that support Children's Miracle Network Hospital. It's also, you get to meet a bunch of the kids. Who, I think, I don't know about all the kids, but lots of the kids that are highlighted.
They're called champions. They're representatives for each state. So the hospital from that state, they pick a specific child, and so they're the representative for their state.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of centered around. So I guess Thursday where they did the signing. So each kid who's a champion actually has basically a banner with their face and their information, and then there's actually a
celebrities
signing
at this event.
Yeah. So they're the focus of the event, which is really cool. So we got to meet a bunch of the kids and their families and talk to them in person and stuff, and that was really cool. At the same time, obviously there was the Extra Life portion, which is still under the Children's Miracle Network umbrella, but obviously the video game side. And so there was a tournament that Twitch was helping run, and stuff like that. So and so there was 100. I don't know what the total prize purse was, but there was 108,000 or more that was already raised via the Humble Bundle, right? That was money that was set aside for this tournament.
Yeah, that's what everyone was competing for at the Extra Life United tournament. It was
Yep.
all for a lot of money for their designated hospital. So the
Right.
winners would win a lot of money for their
Exactly. So yeah, the tournament was really fun. And then just like I said, getting to meet the kids and interacting. And I mean, it was at the Coronado, Disney Coronado, like spring, hotel spring and resort, or whatever. So that was really cool. And, yeah. And then, so I'm sitting there, I was like trying to get some last minute room stuff done, cause there was a lot of like, I just basically knew I had a flight, but I didn't know if I had a room booked or whatever. So I was just like waiting in the cafeteria or one of the restaurants when I got there. And all of a sudden Brandon just texted me and he's like, what the heck? He's like, are you in Orlando? And I'm like, yeah, man. And he's like, what? I didn't know you were coming. He's like, I'm here too. And basically I freaked out because it was funny because when we were talking about whether or not we would have a podcast the week before, Brandon was like, actually, I'm traveling for business. And so I won't be around. And neither of us, like, he didn't tell me what it was, and I didn't, and he probably didn't connect that I had been reached out to, I guess, for that, or if I was going because I didn't mention it. So we were basically like passing chips in the night. But then anyway, so Brandon and I got to hang out a lot. I got to hang out with the one and only Volition and a bunch of other Jimmy was in Hunt and all the Twitch guys and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm definitely hoping to go next year too. What I mean, I don't know. I think Brandon probably had similar thoughts, but
Yeah,
it was.
yeah,
I know it was the
it
first
was-
time I ever went, and it kind of blew away all my expectations.
well, and you
put
you
a lot
did-
of put a lot of stuff in perspective.
You ended up playing some people who destroyed you. I think in
Yeah.
Madden.
Yes.
And
Oh my God. Just destroyed. Justin, of course, Justin Wong. How could I forget Justin? I hung out with Justin Wong, and he bought me multiple
Regrettably.
beverages. Yes, it was a good time.
but yeah, I think
Justin literally just appears to hear if his name's mentioned, and if it's not, he has it ready to go. Justin, you son of a bitch. But yeah.
you like I think you won a couple rounds, didn't you? But
Yeah.
then you got knocked out.
I did. So
relatively early
I
on.
went the console route because, well, anyway, the game list ended up being a little bit different than what was actually there. And initially, like, there were games like Dota and some other games, and I was just like, I don't really play those games. So which that got remedied, and it was a little bit different. But I went the console track, and so there was like Madden, Just Dance, and I was like, man, I used to play Madden all the time. I'm sure I'll be fine. So I won the first like 2 games of Madden I played. I played against people that weren't really prepared, and then I was in like, I guess, the top 16, and that was the first Madden match that was casted. And I played against a guy named Angel, who's a good guy and a guy that raised a lot of money. But I'm sitting there on the stage with him before we start. This was casted by Jimmy and Ezekiel. And I'm like, man, so have you played much Madden or anything? And he's just like, no, man. He's like, I'm lost, dude. He's like, I got no idea. And so like, I mean, I take him at his word. I didn't think he was lying to me. And literally the first, I score, I get the ball first and I score. So I'm like, wow, I'm actually going to be able to do this. And as soon as he gets the ball, he starts no huddle offensing, running offensive plays. He starts doing hot routes, which I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. And basically, like, every time I'm trying to, like, unless I call timeout, I don't really know like what play to run because I'm in the wrong defensive formation. So he's gonna keep hitting the same hot route over and over again. And that actually ended up being the theme a lot. And it's all in good fun because at the end of the day, right, whoever wins the money, it's gonna go to a good cause. It's gonna go to a children's hospital.
Right.
But like, people take that. People took it really seriously, and it's good. Like, I'm glad that they did, but I just got roasted. Like, so many people were just like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I didn't prepare at all. And then they just like wipe the floor with you, and you're like, okay, you really took this serious. So next year I'm going to be more prepared with the games list, and I'm going to try to do the same thing. People ask me, I'm just going to be like, no, I've never played this. Oh, Counter-Strike? No, I've never touched the game. No clue. It's 1v1 aim map. Yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, so there was a lot of that going on. But I also got to host and actually cast some games and cast the final, which was really fun. It was a mix. There was a couple different games that were played in the final. Duck Game, though, ended up being played twice, and that's a fun game to cast. So me and Jimmy did that. Or I'm sorry, not me and Jimmy. Well, me and Jimmy casted some, and then me and Malik did that as well. So I think a lot of people watched it. So definitely next year, just keep Extra Life United in mind. As something to like, if you're not going to attend, obviously, but just to watch on Twitch. I think it ended up being pretty entertaining.
Yeah, the finals definitely were really cool.
Yeah. Anything to add, Brandon, to that? I mean, and also like, well, the perspective too. Like, so it puts a lot of stuff in perspective. There was some really cool, like at the end of the entire event, I think Nick Cannon's hosted a couple years now. At the end,
yeah.
they basically bring all the champions on stage, and they like kind of like they Miss America 2015 was there as well. Some star from the Disney Channel who I don't know was there, but they really they really treat the kids and their families like I said, the champions as the heroes, and it is really cool, and you get to hear their stories, and there's some really like well produced like videos, basically kind of giving background on them, and definitely pretty emotional, and like just puts life in perspective when you're like, yeah, I'm like complaining about some really dumb shit, and there's kids that are hooked up to, some of these kids are going to be hooked up to machines their entire life just to survive because there's no cure, and you know what I mean, and they're making the best of it, and like so many of the kids have such positive attitudes, and even their families too. When it's like it's definitely really tough. So that alone, I mean, obviously the gaming stuff was good, but it was definitely like a refocus. I was like, all right, I need to really, I need to really rein in the stuff that I'm like complaining about. This is, when you see like what some of these kids, are dealing with at such a young age too. Some of these kids like they've been cut open, like, had brain surgery and stuff, and like major surgeries since like they were like out of the womb till like 10 years old. They've had like 10 major brain surgeries. It's insane. So
and then you look over at your mug and it really puts problems in
it does.
perspective.
It does. The fact that I can't art well, I'm like, all right, well, okay,
I don't have it too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, so that was really cool. And I did but that wasn't last week, that was the week before. But yeah, we didn't have a podcast, so I'm glad we're up on that. There was one more thing that happened. This isn't anything related to Extra Life, but this is related to something that happened to me this week. It was also my mom's birthday is actually this week, but we celebrated her birthday on Friday when I got into town in Philly. And my mom's the sweetest. She's like the best, but she's very ditzy at times when it comes to like sayings and just like I can't say colloquialisms, but anyway, that word. And so we call them, her mother, my grandmother was named Antoinette. We call what my mother does Antoinette-isms, because she would just say like really hilarious things, but that are totally like, anyway. So I'll just say what happened. So my dad just recently got this ice cream machine for his birthday or for Christmas from his brother. And my dad is like the most he doesn't know how to cook. He doesn't know how to make toast without burning it. The last time he tried to make milkshakes, he forgot to put the bottom or the top on it, and it just exploded in the kitchen. So he was really proud of himself because he basically taught himself how to make ice cream. And he made this this pistachio ice cream. They were telling me the story. And so he was explaining at the time when he was about ready to make it. My mom was like, I don't want to have to help you with this. Like, you got to learn this yourself. Like, I'm not getting involved. If you want to make ice cream, like, you can do it. So my dad was like, all right. So he was explaining to my mother that it was going to be like a really arduous process, like with like having to roast the pecans and do all this stuff. And so my dad goes, so I'm explaining this to your mother, and I'm talking to her, and I'm saying, this is going to be rough. So, but he's like, I'm going to do it. You don't have to help. And my mom all of a sudden, like listening the whole time, just slowly looks up at him and goes, well, she goes, well, kill yourself. Just totally nonchalant. Yes, no, totally nonchalant. And my brother, totally out of character for my mother. Like, and for really anybody after explain that someone's going to make ice cream. She just goes, well, kill yourself. And my brother just burst out laughing. He's like, Mom, what are you talking about? And they finally realize, and then my dad, it like clicks in his brain. He's like, did you mean break a leg? And my mom goes, oh yes, that's what I meant. That's not the phrase. God. I was just dying. I was like in tears. I was like that, and that's like the level of stuff. What?
She meant knock yourself out.
Or knock yourself out, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's this.
Be like your mother.
Oh, can you? Why is this? Why is this?
Are you on the cast, Abby? Can you?
Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, knock yourself out. It was some variation of that, and like my mother's been basically doing that like her whole life, and I thought it, but I wish I had been there for the moment where she's just like looks at my dad dead in the eyes, just like, kill yourself, because anyway, so it was good. It was good to be home and like be around that, because I do miss that, because my parents are truly like, if I just put cameras on them, it would be pretty entertaining. I think most of the time. I'm sure Katie can attest. I'm sure your family's very.
Jesus Christ, my grandma gets pissed about something and she goes, "Oh shit, the bad Fred." I'm like, hello.
Shit, bad Fred?
Yeah.
Oh,
just
wow.
the most, I don't know.
Katie, I also found out that you routinely, like, your ass gets complimented by your brother and your family, right?
That doesn't happen in a good amount of time. I would like to not talk about it.
What?
Can we please change the subject?
All right, we'll change the subject, but I know that that's something that happened, so I'm sure it's interesting. But all right, anyway, as far as gaming stuff goes, if anyone, Brad, sorry, did you have anything else that I know you went. But...
As far as gaming goes, or wait, what are we? I haven't. I already talked about what I've done for the week.
Brad, relax. Brad, take
If you were
I'm
here,
freaking out.
APL.
No. I was putting the mug back, so I didn't. But I know he talked a little bit about it. But I just wanted to know if there was anything.
Oh no, nothing else going on. I've reinstalled Rust just recently and been playing more of that. That's man, that has been addicting. I don't know. I really liked. If people are gonna fucking hate me, but I really liked Minecraft when it came out. So this kind of like embodies that like crafting system and everything, but like involves like first person shooting with it. So it's like everything I love. So I've been playing Rust a lot.
Gotcha. Would you say Rust is a good game? Or
no, it's
like that.
It's bad. Like it legitimately is like
It's bad. It's bad.
It's horrible if you're playing by yourself. Like it really is. The only reason why it's good is like we have a bunch of friends that are playing, so we're just all playing together. But we just shit on anybody that's like playing by themselves usually. And that's what makes it fun, but it's horrible at the same time. So like I kind of feel bad, but then I don't for these people. But that's what they get for not having any friends. So
wow,
I know exactly.
That got really dark. But
And I know exactly how it's like to just play shitty games all the time, but like you know deep down like, oh, this game sucks. But you just
I mean,
keep
I
playing.
understand games that like you just because you like a certain mechanic or whatever, or it it gets your dinger
Yeah.
hard. Because,
Or
like,
you have
the
dinosaurs and
crafting system.
jetpacks.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Katie knows.
Sometimes you just
Katie,
have
you are-
objectively bad taste.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that could be
yeah.
true. Yeah.
that's true too.
I
Um,
often find it impossible to dislike a game.
Do you really?
It's like I look for redeeming qualities like everywhere. That's why I didn't give Downfall like a lower score.
You're the truest type of gamer. You're always looking for the positive qualities.
Yeah,
That's
because
good,
I don't
but
like
that's good.
saying
Do you
negative
do you
things.
apply that to life though too, and not just games? Like, are you one of those like you always see the upside of somebody, and when other people are like that guy's
Okay.
an asshole?
Yeah, no, I look for the smallest little imperfection, and that's all I can think about.
I'm gonna.
And I write that person out. No,
Okay.
but then in
I
that
might-
review, sorry.
I might get some hate for this, but I think The Witcher, like all those games, are fucking boring. Like
Are you
I can't
fucking
play.
kidding? No.
I can't play any of them. Like some
Yeah.
people are so like best game ever. Like I can't play
Oh
10
my
minutes
God.
of Witcher 3. Like I get so bored.
I can understand where you're coming from. Like for me, it was hard for me to keep going with The Witcher. I think because there was so much content that it was
like,
daunting to
overwhelming.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was daunting because like I knew it would take me so much time to finish, and I probably wouldn't have that much time. So it was like it's almost like too much content sometimes. That's why I'm looking
Exactly.
forward to playing smaller games like Firewatch, and I was mad because I got super hot. I was one of the only, maybe the only game I've ever backed on Kickstarter, and it came out like a couple weeks ago or maybe a week ago, but I haven't been able to play it yet because I've been so busy. So I'm waiting to play games like that are like only a few hours long. But I want them to be like good hours, and I want to be done with them. Like I'm gonna uninstall the game. I probably won't play it again.
Yeah. I mean, and again, when it comes to, and I totally, even until like, it took me discipline to get through. So I pretty much played all the Grand Theft Autos now, but that was always my thing, like, especially with the later ones where there was just, once you got into the main story and then there was so much to do. I mean, I know The Witcher is like, it's not even remotely comparable, but where it was like, there's so many things, I would just like shut down, when I go to a convenience store, like where I can't handle it. Too much choice or just too much content. I'm like, I don't know what path to go down. Like, I don't know if I'm playing this the right way. Like, it's almost too much for me to enjoy. And I feel like The Witcher would have that crippling effect on me too, where I'd just be like, there's just too much. I don't know what to do, but I've gotten a little better at it. So maybe
I feel like I want to be able to see the end in sight. And with a
Yeah.
game like The Witcher, I enjoyed it, but I also, it's just like the fact that there's so many side quests and all of that, it's just like I'll never know when I'm done. And it turns out it might take me like 300 hours. Like I don't have 300
Yeah.
hours. I want to have 300 hours, but I don't.
Yeah, I play games to kind of like I don't know. I've had a long day. I just want to come home and like just be dumb. Like I just want to be stupid, and like I just want to shoot something, or maybe I just want to like play Rocket League. Like for instance, Rocket League's a great dumb game because you literally just boost around and
Yeah, it takes no skill, low skill
Call of
ceiling.
Duty.
Fucking
Exactly.
idiots play it.
Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty on. It's like Call of Duty with retarded RC cars for fucking jocks who used to get penises in their mouth when they were getting led into frat houses. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I totally agree. I agree with what you're
That's
saying, Brad.
Quite a critique.
It's a pretty good excerpt from the IG interview.
I was trying.
That was
to keep
actually the
up and I
Machinima
couldn't.
that was actually the Machinima review. I'm the official
Oh.
reviewer for Machinima. You know,
Alternate title Call
playing,
of Duty.
playing Rocket League is like a frat boy getting a penis in his mouth. Quote me. All right.
8.5 out of 10.
No, but I know what you're saying about it being like mindless in that sense, or just like you can turn your brain off and
Yeah,
have fun, play it.
when I get into Witcher, it's just like you're overwhelmed with information just like immediately, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Like
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Okay. Was there anything else besides you shitting on The Witcher and playing Rust, another shitty game?
No, I sound like a horrible gamer when you say it.
Hey, I'm just calling it as I hear
There
it,
you
Brad.
go.
That's all.
But-
You know.
No, that's all I've done this week. So as far as games go.
Okay, cool. Katie, what about you?
Well, while surfing through the sea of Dark Souls 3 spoilers, been able to get a few games in.
Yes.
I played a lot of Downfall. Played a
Yes,
lot
you
of
did a review.
Downfall.
Pimp out that review, by the way.
Yeah, I'll pimp out that review. I'll hit you up with the
Yeah,
the
hit that
hot
link up for people.
that hot link. That game sucks, but it gets a lot better because like from the beginning of the game to the end, it's one of the because you play it and like the beginning when you hear like that voice acting, you know, like
Yes.
it's god awful, but towards the end, like I'd say the last like 30 minutes to an hour of that game, it takes a huge like step up in like writing and quality and how everything's put together.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, honestly does. Have you finished it, APL?
I mean, a toilet would have been a huge step up from that prologue, but
Yeah, exactly.
totally.
I'm not saying
No,
it's a
no,
lot
I finished
better.
it. Yeah, I finished it on stream, and
Okay.
I pretty much am in the same boat as your review. I might have rated it just a tad higher, but you basically I don't know. No, people have to check out the review. I'm not going to spoil it on the audio version.
Go check
But
out the
I basically
review on
fell.
KBMOD.com.
That's right. Check
Yeah,
it out
just
on the
hit it up in
website.
chat.
But I'm pretty much in the same space as you are, Katie. I mean, we're talking about it, but I definitely like the voice acting for most of the characters, not all the characters, but most of the characters was
Yeah.
pretty terrible.
There's like
the
one
lead.
character at the end, which
Yeah.
is like, why? How's they get this one guy with like great voice acting?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
But the game basically intrigued me enough the whole time that like I couldn't put it down, and there were certain things like you talk about the art style in the review. I think that's a good one of the points for it. 100%. It's unique looking. It's like it is brutal at times. Like stuff will happen where it'll be kind of like there'll be a lull for a bit, and then like something absolutely like just fucked up will happen, and that kind of kept me interested. And I really wanted to see where it went. Like it doesn't change the fact that the writing was really rough most
Awful,
of the
yeah.
entire game.
What
But they did
what
a few
ending-
things with like a few twists. I got the ending. Spoilers, boys. So turn this
Oh,
off if you're
man.
gonna play Downfall. But spoilers, I'm gonna wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you haven't turned the podcast off by now, too bad. I got the ending where he gets knocked out by the cat lady when he's trying to revive. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens all the time.
That's the one
And
I
then
got.
and then yeah, basically he wakes up and then kills everybody in the house, and then he's basically holding his
Wait,
wife's
he
body.
wakes up and
Yes, he
kills
wakes up
everybody?
and kills everybody and burns
Wait, are we
the
spoiling
apartment
something right
building
now?
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
spoiling
spoiling it.
Downfall. We're
So
spoiling
that was my ending. Yeah, and then he gets away holding his dead wife's body, and that was my ending.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think my ending. You know, I don't remember. I think he might have killed everybody. My ending. I remember him leaving the house holding his wife,
Yes.
but I don't
Was
know.
the
if I
house on
killed-
fire? Was the house on fire? Because
Shit.
that's what my ending was. Because that would
I
be
think-
a huge. That would be a huge.
I,
I
hope
think
you
the house-
spoiler
I'm not
warning
gonna
this,
play it
otherwise
again.
people are gonna be super mad.
No, we did. No, well,
Okay.
no one's gonna be super mad because it's Downfall. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, no, I told people,
Yeah, yeah.
I told people to turn off the cast if they didn't want to hear this part. But
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I thought that like you had to play for a significant amount of that ending. You had to play the cat lady first to like get it. Like I kind
which
of
I
get what
didn't
was
do.
going
I
on.
didn't play the cat lady first, so I'm probably
I
gonna
was
go
kind
back
of like,
after.
like who is this? Like why are they
Yeah.
like this? I'd imagine if someone had played it before, they're like, oh my god, what is
That's
she
what some people.
doing?"
That's what some people in the chat who had played the cat lady already said. Yeah,
Like,
they were
freaking
like
out
blown
about.
away. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Did you?
Like
So you
that.
didn't play the cat lady though. You didn't play that.
No, I haven't played the cat lady.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta play that too.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, I thought it was okay. It's definitely not worth $15. I think the gameplay, like, I get that it's like a point and click and there's no
Yeah.
like gameplay. It's just
Mhm.
moving around and like doing things, but it really has some lulls, some really like
Yeah, absolutely.
some boring parts, and a lot of the like puzzles that like don't take any thought It just feels like you're doing chores. Get this right item to do this thing, which gives you a
Right.
item.
Figure out what the items do basically is pretty
Yeah,
much the
exactly.
entire, game. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it was alright. But yeah, other than that, I played Down Well. I don't know if any
Wait,
of you
a lot of
played
games with down in the title.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know.
Downfall, down well. What's
Downfall,
down well?
Downwell is I know it's on mobile, but I'm not sure if it started on there. It's I wouldn't call it a roguelike.
Oh god,
It's
I'm
like
already
a,
triggered. But go ahead.
No. It's not a roguelike at all. It's like an arcade game. You're basically you're going down a well, and you're like falling down, and there's platforming where you're trying to make it down, and you have gun boots where you can shoot enemies, and you can also land on them and bounce off of them. The sound design is fucking awesome. Visually, it's really good. You unlock like different palettes to use because it's very like simplistic. Every level you beat, you get upgrades, but if you die, you have to start all the way over, and you get like different upgrades. And that one's really fun to just like burn some time, do a few runs. It's on mobile, but I haven't played it because it costs money. And but yeah, Downwell's pretty good. I'm still playing Undertale. I've got to the final boss on the genocide route, which is fucking so hard. It's very difficult, and I've died like so many times to it. It's there, and it's also that game is so well done. There's so many times where you just have to like put your controller down, and you're either like your mind's being blown or you're laughing so hard. It's it's really good, but I'll grind at it a few more times tonight. Hopefully beat it, sometime in the next month. Because that's just a crazy fight.
I gotta play that one too. I have it, but I haven't started it yet. But
Yeah, for
everyone
sure.
basically it's like people are like, you played Undertale, you gotta play that. So
Yeah, if you play that, you definitely have to
that.
put it in a sub only mode.
okay.
sure.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because
That wouldn't really affect my chat because people still fucking will do whatever they want. But yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Dark Wing Zero 2. I would say that I'm having a bad time. If you played the game, you'd get that.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I'm also playing through Demon Souls. I'm going to like go through the whole series again to get ready for Dark Souls 3, and it's lacking like a lot of the polish of like Dark Souls and like the later games, but the levels design is like still top notch in that, and that's been like a blast to go through again, even though it does have a lot of systems like World Tendency that I just hate. But that's been really fun, and yeah, it's all I can think of that I played, other than like a scattered match of Rocket League every now and then.
yeah.
But
You know what? I just realized I did play something else, and that's my Blizzard games, because I've been trying to get it. I don't know what it takes to get the Overwatch beta, but I've been playing Diablo 3, and I tried dabbling with StarCraft again. But
Have you just been playing Blizzard games in hopes that that's how they're picking Overwatch people?
well, I heard Diablo got fixed, so or got updated. So I just thought maybe, I don't know what they're requiring to give to people.
No, no, you've tipped your hand. You're just basically playing Blizzard games hoping you get an Overwatch key.
Yeah,
It's fine. No, it makes sense. I would do that too. I play a lot of Hearthstone. I just happen
Spoiler alert, I just got an email from Blizzard saying that if you have Rust installed on your computer, you can't get the fucking beta. So, sorry, Brad. It's like you're going to have to install.
Yeah, I heard they got updated anyway, so I was like feeling like trying it. I just want Overwatch,
Yeah,
honestly.
I haven't tried the new Diablo patch, but I did see that got an update.
So that's what I've been playing. I was just pissed about Overwatch because I still don't have it. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, what about you? Did you play anything this week?
Only thing I've really played is just I played a little bit of Hearthstone, and on the plane to and from Orlando, I played some FTL. That's kind of my go-to offline game.
Yeah.
And I like watching people stream that game, but like I'm so bad at FTL, I'm not even good at easy. And there are people like Lethal Frag that play on hard, like no pause or anything, and I can't even play. Like I can't even complete successfully with probably like a 50% win rate on easy, and it makes me feel bad about myself. But I love the music, like I love the game. It makes me realize when I go back to play it that I've put in a lot of hours to that game over the past few years, and I'm still so bad at it.
Yeah.
But that's all I've played though.
Okay. And I'll go real quick. Downfall, which I beat last week. I think that was really the only single player thing, and then just tons and tons of Counter Strike. Lately, I don't know. I'm back on the Counter Strike bandwagon. Not bandwagon. I mean, I always play Counter Strike, but I've actually really been enjoying the game. I guess that's the difference. Sometimes I play it, and it just depends on the day. I don't enjoy it as much, but I've been having a lot of fun with the game. And
Did you
I
watch
think we'll talk
any Katowice this weekend?
Yeah,
You wanna
so
talk
I will
about it
talk a
real
little
quick?
bit about that. That was the other interesting kind of parental thing that happened this weekend. So I was
I
watching.
saw your tweet. I did want to.
Yeah,
I
did you see
did
my
want to
tweet?
mention that. I saw your tweet with your
Yeah.
parents watching Counter Strike.
So we just had kind of like a lazy Saturday up until the concert. So my parents were around and we were just chilling like in the living room, and they have a Amazon. Oh, this is not product placement, but they have an Amazon Fire Stick, which I also have, trademark.
Really? How do they like it?
They love it. Yeah, they love it because they're going from, so they have a pretty nice HD TV, but they were using the only thing that they were using for their Netflix. They have a Wii U, and they were using 480p Netflix on Wii U. My poor parents. And so finally, they got an Amazon Fire Stick, and they love it for Netflix and the other stuff. So I put the Twitch app on because I was like, man, I want to watch Katowice. And so I turned it on, and obviously there were some great matches. But in the finals, basically when I turned it on, it was. Well, that would have been Saturday, right? The finals were Saturday afternoon. I think I'm right on that on my timeline. Yeah, and so obviously it was Fnatic versus Luminosity, and they both just were sitting in the living room, and I didn't expect them to necessarily be interested. But as it started going on, and they're like seeing like this stadium, right, with all these people in it. I mean, and they're not like oblivious to esports. They know. I mean, but I don't really talk about it with them all that much. But they know that I played Counter Strike and was I was never professional, but played on teams and stuff. So it was always a battle in my house. But so they saw it like, oh my goodness, is that like at a stadium? And they saw the stage setup and they thought that was ridiculous. And then they just started watching as the game was playing out. And so they're asking me like, so who's the favorite? Who's the underdog? So I'm giving them all this background. I'm like, so Fnatic is like the Yankees of CSGO. And so my dad can understand. He's like, oh, okay, I got it. I was like, they have like 4 or 5 of the best players in the world at any given time on their team. They basically, they never say die. So like even in that first match, Luminosity was up 12-3. I was like, watch, they're not going to win this game. And sure enough, Fnatic comes back and wins it. But my mom's asking me like, how do you what does the bomb plant mean? What is the round timer? And then like when the round timer disappears, my mom's like, oh, the round timer disappeared. Does that mean that they planted the bomb? I was like, yes, mom, that is exactly right. So I'm not kidding. They watched for a solid like 2 hours for the first 2 maps, and they were like enthralled with it. And
That's awesome.
like they were even commenting after the fact. They were like, I totally get why this is like a huge spectator thing. They were like, it's super
really cool.
accessible. At least with Counter-Strike wise, they're like, after it's explained and you know what to look for. Even my brother, who's not a video game fan at all, like didn't get any of that gene, or it just isn't interested in it, watched it with me, watched the finals, and was like, this is like really hype. Like I really understand. So that was a cool moment. And they're
really
like a lot
cool that
more.
You can get all your family like at once into esports, and one event does it.
Right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were really psyched to like finally like kind of understand it a little bit, and definitely got like why it was entertaining. So
Yeah.
Than having like a League of Legends game on.
right, exactly. No, and that was the other thing. Yeah, that was the other thing too. Like if it had been like Dota 2 or League, it definitely would have been. But so to me again, it just proves why it proves to me why. It's one of the reasons why Counter-Strike is like rising in popularity so much, because I do think, not that people don't know about Counter-Strike, and I don't think it's necessarily like a huge surgence of fans that are my parents' age in their 50s, but it is something that's pretty accessible to people once you watch for a little bit. Like you can pretty much understand. Like these 5 guys have to kill these 5 guys, and there's a few caveats to that, but it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty basic.
I think that's why like Rocket League has also done pretty well, because Rocket League is pretty easy to understand.
Totally.
And League and Dota and those types of games, it's hard to watch as a new spectator. Whereas Counter-Strike, I feel like that your example is the perfect one, where like your parents watching Counter-Strike, by the end of a couple of matches, they were able to understand at least the basic concepts, and they're not like analyzing the meta, but they can watch it and enjoy it.
Even it was really cool though too. It was like questions like, so they're like, so because they had never seen anything like it, so they're like, so they didn't realize that the spectator client, it took them like one match, and they're finally like, those guys can't see those guys through the walls, right? And I was like, no. I was like, that's for us, right? I was like, that's for us. And they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. So like, they're like, oh, and then they appreciated. They're like, oh, that, because I was like, well, that can't be that hard if they can see through the walls. And they're like, oh, now I have so much more respect for the skill. I was like, yeah, right. Like, no,
That's
they can't see
a valid thing though. Like
unless
if you
unless you're flush Kappa, but no.
Yeah.
I hate myself. But yeah, so even just stuff like that, but it's like to a person that's never like really spent any time watching anything like that. But it also proved to me how amazing the spectator client is in Counter-Strike Go, and like how much information is on screen. Because I was even noticing things looking closer that I kind of like just take for granted having watched so much CS. But I'm like, obviously all the health, seeing what weapons are selected, all that kind of stuff. Was really helpful to them. And then by the end of it, they were like, okay, so this is a 2v3, right? Like they were like testing me,
Wow.
like just to make sure that they understood what was going
I
on. I was
already
like, yep,
understood the
2v3.
lingo and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
awesome.
telling you, man. They're gonna, if I turn it on, like it's good now that I know if I go home and there's a CS event, I can turn it on and they'll be like down to just watch it with me, like anything else.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. So, but yeah, so Katowice was really cool. That final was awesome, even though it was 3-0, and Fnatic continuing to prove why they're just the best team in the world. It was like, I mean, 2 OTs in that 3-0 and Fnatic having to come back and win that. But it was really entertaining. There was like good matches throughout the entire weekend. I thought the production was really solid. The casting, that final casting, like of Anders, Semler, Moses together is just
That's a great combo.
orgasmic. Yeah, and they really fed well off each other. And yeah, it was pretty solid. So
Looking forward to the major.
yes, the major, which I think that'll go. I don't know if we have. Well, we're going to talk about that in the news, in the quick hits a little bit. But yeah, the major has a little bit of money behind it, actually, just a tad.
A little bit.
So we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's jump into the news here. Let's talk about something that all of you should be super excited about: the Universal Windows platform, and Tim Sweeney's thoughts on it from. I guess I'm assuming this was this week, Brad. I don't know when he said
Yeah, this all bubbled up this week. And like this, so the Universal Windows platform is basically like kind of the platform behind the Windows Store on PC. So that's why it's relevant for this story.
Right.
Because like the Universal Windows platform is like their idea that you can create an app or a program that runs on desktop, it runs on mobile, it runs on like tablets. That's like the whole universal piece. But that idea comes with a lot of restrictions when it comes to games, especially. And Scott, you were talking about the people that bought Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes, on that platform, and so yeah, basically, so anyway, Tim.
Just
and
to
if
give
don't
you
know,
context for like why this is all coming to a head.
Yeah. And Tim Sweeney is the co-founder of Epic Games. So anyway, sorry, that's his pedigree, and he wrote basically like an op-ed, a pretty long piece just about why this is absolutely terrible. And this is one of his quotes. He said, PC Universal Windows platform can, should, must, and will die as a result of industry backlash. So he says that, and then to give you some context, like Brandon's saying, some of the stuff that's been going on if you're buying your games via the Windows platform. So like if you picked up Rise of the Tomb Raider, which debuted on PC, on Steam, and Windows Store, those that forked over the money for the Windows version were disappointed to find a host of limitations, including not being able to turn VSync off, no SLI or Crossfire support, and no exe file that can be loaded into Steam for use with the overlays or big picture or anything like that. So, I mean, again, if you're not using Steam and you're buying, I would question, why you're using the Windows Store at all. But, that's a pretty fucking huge deal. Like some of those really
things that I think you wouldn't necessarily think about that.
No, you wouldn't think.
If you were
That's
thinking,
true.
oh, I'm making a game, and sure, I'll put it on Steam, I'll put it on the Windows Store, like why not, right? But then now these restrictions basically make it a non-starter for games if you're missing things like that because the Windows platform doesn't allow you to do those things.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's just a part of it. And there was a couple others in regards to that, but that was one of the big releases that people were just like, what is going on? And to be fair, Microsoft, Phil Spencer at Microsoft responded and said, we know lists like this include features PC gamers want to see from us. Basically, someone had tweeted and said, we want to see this. And they said, we have plans to improve and we appreciate your feedback. But I have a question that's a greater question here. Microsoft is not stupid. I'm not gonna say Microsoft is stupid because I really don't think they're stupid. I think this has to be a move that they're just basically gonna throw a lot of shit at the wall with this thing and see what sticks, right? And like wait for the backlash because they have to know the backlash is coming, right? Or do you think it's literally a case of them being so naive, like they have to understand why people enjoy the PC platform? You would think of anybody, Microsoft should understand that, right? But then they push these like draconian, like these console style things onto PC gaming. I don't know if they're just in the cause of trying to unify the experience or make it, I don't know, better in their eyes. But like, there's no way that they didn't think that this backlash was going to come, right? Anybody?
I mean, from what I hear, like as far as just like Phil Spencer, I remember a while ago, like I see so many quotes like, "Oh, we're really, focusing on making our platform or our presence on the PC better," and then I see things like this and things like, weren't they talking a bit ago about doing a whole new like ecosystem, like just for like games on PC, like they're doing like a second version of Windows, like games for Windows Live.
That's basically what this is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's just like I feel like they probably mean the best here, but like I think the problem with the platform is that you have to have so much security around it, because if it's like, look at the App Store, right? The reason the reason the Apple App Store has the reputation it does is in part because like you download something and you can trust it. Now there's still like some scam stuff, like you can find bad apps on there, but generally speaking, when you search for something and you download it, you don't think it's going to have a virus. Like you trust that application. And so in order for Windows to have that same, like build that same reputation of, I go to the Windows Store because that's like the official store, I feel safe downloading things from that, they have to really sandbox what you can do with things that go on the Windows Store. And because of that, they trash a lot of these features that are like integral to games, but require some specific APIs and stuff that maybe the Windows Store doesn't like. I don't know the full technical details, but that's my sense, is just this is like a use case that they haven't thought about or put enough time behind to fix it just for games, where it's probably not as big a deal for a normal application because they don't need any of that special stuff. That's my thought. Like that's at least my, like, giving them the benefit of the doubt. But that being said, that completely goes against their whole stance that like we care about PC gamers, we're trying to make up for Windows games for Windows Live. Like this does not do that, right? When Epic's CEO comes out and bashes you, like you should be having a dialogue with a guy like that about this sort of thing regardless, right? Like he is someone that how is he coming out and writing a piece like this? Like how does Microsoft not already know his opinion? He's a pretty important guy in the industry.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
My take is this is just an easy way to port games. Like that's all I'm. So the Rise of the Tomb Raider, for instance, it didn't have like VSync and all these other features because I feel like the people are developing for this like Windows ecosystem, and it's just gonna be like they're not going to want to put the time into maybe developing for just a bunch of random systems or something, and they just want to just put it on, give it to Microsoft and let them push it out as is. And if it's on the Windows Store, like that's just like that's all they're going to do. Like so from one standpoint, I think it's like, to me it seems like a lazy way of doing the games, but then on the other standpoint, it's like this also means I might be able to get some of the games that were previously exclusive to Xbox that like now I can get. Like, will we get like another Halo title on the PC?
Right. But at what cost and how locked
but
down?
Would you want a Halo title that's locked with VSync on?
Yeah, right.
Like that's the thing.
Well,
like, I wouldn't buy that.
Yeah. Same.
Well, I mean that's how dedicated. Like some people are really dedicated. So I mean like the racing sim genre on PC is pretty lackluster. So I mean like there just isn't a lot of titles. So some people really might want something like Forza, for instance. Now, of course, VSync, like I think everybody can agree just VSync is just shit. Like for some systems, like G-Sync is probably, or FreeSync is the only way to go if you're going to have some kind of syncing system. But like
I don't know, if I want my games to be more cinematic, then VSync is definitely the right
That's
choice.
right. But I don't know. I think I think some people would be willing to take that sacrifice on like losing.
No, I think it's in
features.
between. I do think it's in between. I think both of you are right to an extent. Like I think there's probably, I don't think it's necessarily stupidity or super malicious. I think it probably is an easier way to port the games, and like you're saying, Brandon, too, like having that more lockdown style, right? Like an Apple app store and stuff like that, where you can trust everything and you're not
just
worried
easier
about
for
it.
them to police the stuff on the store, right? When they start allowing
right.
some of that more advanced functionality that
Right.
games require, then that's harder
Yeah.
for them to police things on the Windows Store,
Yeah.
right? They have to review that content, and like that makes it harder for them, I'm sure. There's probably a lot of things at play where,
Sure.
as usual, like the PC gaming audience and PC gaming developers are a pretty specific part of your audience. It's very different from all of the other apps on your store, right? Games are going to require the biggest hardware, the most advanced functionality, and so like they can either put the effort behind developing and making that like a good experience for the Windows Store, or it sounds like they haven't done that work yet, and so you just kind of have to neuter your game and take these features out. And I mean, I think that all the backlash I've seen so far agrees with what I feel like is like, then don't do it. Like, don't say you care about PC gaming and then have the Windows Store be like a really bad place to download games, right? If I download Rise of the Tomb Raider from the Windows Store instead of Steam, and then end up realizing that like there are critical features that are different and taken out just simply because of the platform it's on, then like I'm never gonna buy from the Windows Store again. And that's like, I mean, they're ostensibly trying to compete with Steam, right? Like you're gonna have to be at least as good as Steam at like the distribution of games. That's the basic level.
Totally. So I'll read one more little paragraph that he had said, which talks to kind of what you're saying too. He said Microsoft has launched new PC Windows features exclusively in UWP and is effectively telling developers you can use these Windows features only if you submit to the control of our lockdown UWP ecosystem. They're curtailing users' freedom to install full-featured PC software. Again, a good example is Rise of the Tomb Raider, and subverting the rights of developers and publishers to maintain a direct relationship with their customers. So, like you're saying, I mean, if you're a game publisher, I mean, you would just say, our product, we're not going to make our product available on your. But again, like Microsoft is a huge, they're a huge player, right? Potentially for a lot of these developers.
Could be, but like that's the thing is they're not today. They have no pull
right now
today.
Yeah,
but they, in theory, they do, right? Because they can kind of build it and integrate it into Windows, and I think that's what everyone assumes they will do to more and more with Windows 10. But like there are so many other platforms that are providing a good enough experience for getting games. You have Steam, you have Humble, you have like EA and Uplay, and all of these, like, they're differing quality, but they're still like they're good enough most of the time. And like the Windows Store, the one thing they have in common is they're not like intentionally gimping games to fit within this framework.
Right.
And that's what I think. Why would you go for this platform just because it's owned by Windows? I think it's not like the pull is not strong enough yet that you're gonna like just submit to what Windows wants, to what Microsoft wants, because it's got to be on the Windows Store. Like no one goes there today anyway.
I just remembered something this week came out about one of Windows' new exclusive like Windows Store games, Quantum Break. Something was revealed this last week, I think, where parts of the game, so it's like a blend of like basically TV and like gameplay from what I understand. From what I've gathered is that the PC version, you actually will always have to require an online connection, and they won't let you download like the TV, like the television parts. So like if anything, like that's so horrible for like a first game on the new Windows Store.
Like they're one of their flagship, like this flagship game on.
Yeah. So they say it's because some PCs will have like 4K video, so it'd be unrealistic to download that. So you're gonna have to stream it. So I don't know.
They're using like TV channels in the game, or
it's like a blend. So basically, you like the cutscenes are actual like video that they've captured, and then you play the game. I think. So
okay.
I don't know. It sounds strange, but like just to have that like option where Windows Store is already restricting you to like online only all the time for their like first game, like I don't know. That just sounds.
Yeah, I don't see why they couldn't just do like a fake, because like you can do a fake TV like channel, you know, unless it's like something bigger than just having like a TV going on, like playing something.
All
I'm not
see,
I could be like totally ignorant on this.
all this means to me is that like I think Quantum Break is going to be a colossal failure. Like it sounds to me
Well,
like
that's what I'm
they're
trying
sort of
to
just
say,
setting
yeah.
up they're setting up Quantum Break for failure. Like I don't think Quantum Break is going to launch the Windows Store into like this player in the industry overnight. I think it's basically going to be Quantum Break launches and then no one ends up playing Quantum Break because it's nowhere
Yeah.
because it's only on the Windows Store, and that means most
Yeah.
people will never see it.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's a shame.
So, too.
Like that's unfortunate, but
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on the Universal Windows platform, and if you're using the service, let us know. Send us an email about how great it is or not great.
if you're passionate about the Universal Windows platform,
there might be,
by all
we might have a
means.
listener or a viewer. Yeah, you're right, Brandon, who's super passionate, who basically has uninstalled Steam. They don't want anything to do with it, and they're only going to buy games that are available on the Universal Windows platform. So if you're one of those people, tell us about it.
They wouldn't let me
I wanna know.
refund Firewatch.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. They were done with Steam. All right, so this was from last week, but this is too good to not actually discuss now. And I mean, not shocking, but I'll just read the headline. Senator who blamed video games for violence jailed for weapon smuggling and corruption. So definitely just
Damn.
sweet right off the bat. But so this is a U.S. senator. I mean, he really didn't like video games, at least in the public sphere. He campaigned against video games, blamed him for causing violence. He was Leland Yee, and he has admitted and is now in jail for political corruption charges, including accepting bribes for favors. He agreed to being involved in a plot to smuggle guns from the Philippines into the U.S. And among a couple other charges, racketeering, selling guns without a license, agreeing to join a murder for hire plot suggested by an undercover FBI agent. But you know what? The thing was, I bet the story's going to come out that he was playing video games, and this is the reason that he was violent. So maybe this isn't actually hypocritical. I bet you,
Damn.
like he was talking about, he was rallying against GTA and all these games, and finally he was like, maybe I should just try them before. And he started playing them, and he became violent. And he was like, man, I can smuggle weapons. That's not it.
Maybe
think,
his coping mechanism for being addicted to violent video games was to rally against them so harshly, so that if they did finally get banned, he can reclaim his life. But it didn't
Brandon,
work
I
out
think
that way for him.
I feel like
Well,
it could be that.
You've got to consider he's a senator. He has a lot of stress to relieve, so he might have seen Necopara in an advertisement, and that was his like entry point, and just got him into the.
So
whole
he
scene.
tried to blame video games for the Sandy Hook incident, that's real sick. And he said gamers have, this is what he said in regards to gamer. He said gamers have no credibility in this argument. When we were like, no, that has nothing to do with Sandy Hook. He said gamers have to quiet down. This is all about their lust for violence and the industry's lust for money. This is $1 billion industry. This is about self-interest. So he had a lot of nice quotables.
all video game players and their lusts for violence.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you honestly could see this on The Onion and you wouldn't bat an eye.
No, totally. I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of an Onion. I feel like what we're saying, though, I feel like what we just did was we actually made it an Onion article. If it actually was playing the video games and then rallying against them, and then
I mean, that would make more sense. Like, at least there would be a cohesive story there. This, to me, is just like, not only is he just like seems like a legitimately bad person for constantly going back to the well of like violent video games are causing all our problems. Like, let's always blame like gamers and gaming and for the violence. And then he's involved in like a murder for hire plot. I mean, come on, this is the kind of thing that you can't make up.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, this is not anything new. I mean, you could replace video games with people rallying against people, especially in government, rallying against certain things and then being caught for the things that they're rallying against. So it happens a lot, but usually the person that's screaming the loudest against something is probably involved with it in some form. So I think Brandon, I would not be shocked, like you're saying, that he would be found to have been playing video games. Yeah. And therefore getting corrupted.
It's just it's a real shame when someone like this for so many years, because of their position, they do cause damage. Like people see what a senator says, and a lot of people take that seriously. Sure, and they take that viewpoint as credible. But then today, now no one will believe him if he was spouting off stuff about video games, because now he's like he's literally been convicted for serious crimes. But for a long time in his office, he was talking all this nonsense, and people believed him because he's a senator. And it's just like, oh man, the hypocrisy is just so rich that it's a shame that so many people probably implicitly had their views changed because of a senator saying this garbage.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, though, it is good to see a hypocrite like this getting, or not even just a hypocrite, but just a shit person, like you're saying, Brandon, just get what's coming to him. So
if you're cynical about government, by all means, read this story.
Exactly. You'll feel it'll depress you, but you'll also feel good for maybe a little bit, and then you'll be depressed again. But all right, so this was actually, this was another story from last week, but again, too good to not talk about this week. This is amazing. Just for some of the unprecedented things that occurred and things that came out of Gabe Newell's mouth directly in regards to this. So you probably heard last week that Gabe Newell, they fired the Shanghai major host and production team for huge problems basically with the production, things that were said by the host James Harding. And so the thing that I really love about this story is that Gabe took directly to Reddit and the Dota 2 subreddit to discuss kind of basically what happened. Obviously, Harding tweeted that he had been dismissed last week and said that it was Valve's decision. And this was the Shanghai, obviously, Dota 2 major. And I didn't actually watch it, but I heard a lot of people saying that it was pretty much it seemed like a shit show. And
yeah, from what I've understood, James has been known in the past to say some like pretty interesting things, like how he's shown up to an event in the hotel he lacked like porn options or something. And this is while he was casting a major event. This is right,
a major event run by Valve, right?
I don't know if that's true or not. I just read that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want to be taken seriously, like that kind of shit can't be. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think, I mean, there was a couple things that and a lot of people, so I actually read through the subreddit and people were saying, well, it was because the production was so terrible and he was having to stretch for insane amounts of time. So that was part, but again, I heard other people said, well, no, but it doesn't matter if you're stretching. You have to be fucking professional. It doesn't matter. So I agree with that too.
It's one of those like perfect stories where you can choose to agree with either side and you're not right or wrong. Like there's definitely kind of a middle ground there where like James's reputation is kind of a little, to be kind of irreverent. He's a pretty funny guy, and that can come with the risk of like sometimes he doesn't necessarily know where the line is, and I think that's even doubly doubly important when you're talking about an event that is broadcast in and from China, where kind of the like there is not free speech, and the things that they can say could actually like maybe get the event shut down, or like you don't necessarily know what all Valve's motivations are with an event like that, like kind of the people they have to cater to make sure that event can even happen in China, and like that's what I was thinking about when I saw all this. I was like, the fact that Gabe came out on Reddit directly. And like it's not like it's posted to the Steam blog. It's literally just Gabe's Reddit account. And he just holds
Dota
back
2,
nothing.
our Dota 2.
Yeah, he just holds back nothing and like publicly fires James and this production company.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it's gotta be because like he's showing China that like we don't tolerate this, or like whatever happened that's not I don't agree with it. That's what I was thinking might have been the case.
And I've heard people in chat are saying this too, but that basically that James' whole thing is that he's an asshole, right? Like that's his meme. But that's like how and I don't know if it's comparable to like a Thorin in the CS world, but maybe it is. Maybe that's comparable because that's kind of Thorin's thing. Okay. Is he's an asshole and he's going to say unpredictable things on the desk, and that's why ESL doesn't hire him. I mean, he's still really good, but for certain things, and especially like you're saying in a lockdown situation in China, where you got to be really careful about what you say. I can see that happening. But I want to read the quote from Gabe directly. So this is basically what he said on Reddit, and it's amazing. So he said two things. He just drops the mic. He said, James, we've had issues with James at previous events. Some Valve people lobbied to bring him back for Shanghai, feeling that he deserved another chance. That was a huge mistake. James is an ass, and we won't be working with him again. Which I just love the idea of Gabe Newell just being like, you're an ass, and we're done. And then he said, and then he goes number 2, and this is probably my favorite part of the whole thing. As long as we're firing people, what a way to start the sentence. As long as we're firing people, we're also firing the production company that we've been working with on the Shanghai Major. They will be replaced, and we hope to get this turned around before the main event. And then he said he left his email. As always, I can be reached at, his email that he does straight up respond to. So
apparently that's a good move. I read some comments that like for some of those like like there's a lot of like mumbling like heard and a lot of like issues. There's some comments on this post, but
yeah. So I went through the post too, and I mean it was definitely a mix. Like, but I think it seemed like it leveled out to most people being like, like regardless of what his like shtick is and whatever else, like, and regardless of the production problems, like this is kind of what Gabe had to do. And just to see him throw down like that, like you're saying, I think showing off maybe possibly to China in a way where it's like, okay, like I'm sure they probably weren't happy with how it was if they were paying attention, but also like I feel like Gabe is like just fucking pissed off. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I think he's fucking mad.
It wouldn't surprise me. This feels like a decision Gabe could have just made unilaterally. Like didn't even tell anyone. He just wrote up a Reddit post and posted it. Like that's how it comes off. Absolutely. He's just like, we're firing James. Oh, and by the way, we're firing the production company. Like, and it sounds like it's basically because he said so. That's sort of the tone of the post.
I also wouldn't want to be one of my other favorite parts is when you're reading that a couple, like a certain few Valve employees rallied to bring him back, and I'm like, if I'm at Valve, I'm like, I really hope I'm not one of those employees that was like, bring James back, because you're probably next. Gabe's like, and who were the people that said that we should give him another chance? Because they're gone too. Since we're firing people. Oh man. Anyway,
it was super interesting just story. Because like Gabe hardly ever says anything on the record.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that he has a Reddit account, like he very rarely even responds to things on Reddit, but for him to go directly to Reddit and fire James and the production company for a massive event for the Dota 2 community is just every piece of this. I mean, I feel like the people were just fiending, just like constantly wanting more and more of this.
This drama made me wish I was more like actually paid attention to Dota, because I love me some
for a few days.
I love me some drama. Yeah, like this is fantastic. So, all right. So that was the stuff in the kind of the more main news. But we have a couple quick hits to get to, and I alluded to this earlier. But so MLG Columbus, which is coming up here very quickly. The MLG Columbus Major is going to have a $1 million prize pool. Again, this is news last week. Really exciting news. And this is something that's been, obviously, if you've been following CS:GO, people are like, why are these purses, like why is the major, why is it not like at least $1 million? Like look at Dota, look at all these other things. CS:GO's growth has been insane. Well, there you go. On the 23rd of February, on the blog, the Valve says when we announced the first CS:GO Major Championship in 2013, we hope the majors would be rallying points for the community. Tentpole events that could draw new audiences and amplify the value of the events, blah, blah, blah. Basically, then they have 2 paragraphs, and then all you need to know is they say, we're pleased to announce that beginning with MLG Columbus in 2016, each major prize pool, each CS:GO major will be $1 million.
Yeah,
so,
I think the story is not just that MLG Columbus, this major will have $1 million prize pool. It's that Valve is saying every major will have a prize pool of at least $1 million, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yep, that's absolutely
Because I think that's actually like that's one thing that I feel like Dota, and I think we've talked about it on the cast before, is like Dota has this one event, the International, each year with this ludicrous prize pool, when really, like, a better way to structure that community would be like, let's take that ludicrous prize pool and spread it out a little bit over the year, and you could have 3, 4, 5 amazing events instead of one really amazing event. But you could support your whole scene with like spreading out those events and making sure that like there's some excitement in other things aside from this one crazy thing. And like that's what they're doing now with the majors and with Dota 2. They're also doing it, but like you want to create like the circuit, and have people get excited about these majors. And one way to do that is make sure that they're some of the top prize money you can win. So I think it's a good move on Valve's part.
Definitely, yeah.
It's not like they don't have the cash.
No, yeah, it's not like this is gonna hurt the bottom line for Valve.
I really wish they'd take the international approach to Counter-Strike, where they promise updates if they reach like certain thresholds, because there are times where I think the community would fund it, like a huge pool like they have with the international. And I think there's so many features that like the Valve, like the Counter-Strike community wants that just haven't been
Yes.
implemented.
Yes.
That I don't see why it's not possible. I just honestly don't know why they haven't.
I actually hadn't thought about that till you brought it up, but I mean, that would be amazing if there was something that they could implement like that. That would make me wet. I'm actually hard thinking about. I mean, it would make you wet and hard at the same time if they did something like that. Because I think that model is fantastic. Like,
Yeah, I love that, and I would honestly like be willing to contribute that because I think that's something cool too, where the community actually funds what these pro teams like get in return, right? So it's
yeah,
I am
totally.
contributing to this pool, and I feel a sense of community and contribution. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I just don't give a shit about Dota, so I don't contribute to the international. But
yeah, right. Okay. All right. So Microsoft, Brad, you want to talk about this one a little bit in regards to the HoloLens and the Dev Edition? Who can take this?
I can. You know, it's just that they're open. I just the HoloLens, the augmented reality like lens, open for pre-order. It starts at 3K, and some people are really upset about it. But really, for what you're getting, like, there's nothing out there like this. So I think we've known that it's been 3K for a while. So I don't think $3,000 is completely out of the question for some kind of technology.
I mean, it's not going to break the bank if you're not a poor shitlord. So I mean,
well, yeah, and honestly, like, this isn't like the Oculus where there's like nothing out there for augmented reality. The only reason why you should be buying this is if you're a dev and you're gonna be making something with this. Now I don't know what's going into this that actually makes it $3,000 because I feel like, well, the Rift and this are completely different, but the Rift, the first kit, was much less than this if I remember right. So I don't know. It might be just Microsoft knowing that they can charge a lot for this, that they just do, or maybe this is newfound technology. But anyways, that opened up, and I just kind of wanted to use that to go into the HTC Vive. When that went up for sale, they sold 15,000 units in less than 10 minutes. So,
oh my god, that's actually okay.
So for being at least $800 a pop, like that is some mad money.
Wow.
And there's an audience for it. Like, some people are like, oh man, I would. I mean, in our poll, I think it was only like 5 or 10% or something that even said they were going to buy. But I mean, just 15,000 in less than 10 minutes, like, that is insane.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
People I feel like it definitely that seeing things like that. I'm surprised that so many people went out and ordered a Vive. Like, it's. I mean, I've heard great things. I've heard it's really cool, but again, it's. I would not expect that to be a mass market thing, and 15,000 units in 10 minutes is like that's Apple iPhone type sales velocity,
Right.
But that's really neat. I think it feels like we're entering a point where everyone's like competing for VR at the same time, because now like the HoloLens just launched their developer edition, and they're clearly something slightly different, right? Like $3,000. That's, I guess, for developers or commercial, like companies. I don't even know who that's really for.
Oh, actually, I do remember what made the HoloLens a little expensive, and I think it actually does come with a computer. I just recalled that. So,
holy shit!
Explain the price.
Wow.
No, explain the price. So, sorry about that.
Still, yeah.
They don't trust you to build your own computer, so they send you one.
You'll fuck it up. Like,
why
here's what we send you.
Oh, but you do have to build for the Universal Windows platform, so who knows?
And then they take 30%.
Wow.
It feels like a lot of people are now getting into VR, and I think like it's one of those things that people will slowly come around to, as like if your friend owns one or something. It's something that you have to have a friend like show it to you before you really believe them or really want one. And so it's cool that, I mean, so many people have pre-ordered Vives, and you have Oculus out there. Like, the more people that own these, like the more enthusiasts that own them, the better chance it has of kind of hitting that mass market, because those enthusiasts are going to have to kind of show people look what VR can do. Look why it's so cool. Because like even someone like me, like I'm not buying one of these, and I feel like I'm in the market that should want one of these.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a huge fucking nerd, dude. I don't know why you haven't ordered one.
I know, but I haven't because like it's not that appealing to me yet, but it's clearly appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of surprised by it. As excited as I am for VR, I'm not rushing out to buy one of these things. But I mean, 15,000 people in 10 minutes did. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Do you
I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's impressive. The numbers are impressive, but I don't think that changes. I think what you're saying overall though still stands. I think we're just seriously underestimating the amount of people like diehards who are really obsessed with the technology and want to get it early. I still think the average. I still think even for people like us, I think we'll probably most of us will wait. I think we just underestimated the amount of people that are willing to do it. I don't think this necessarily means that it's that the market's for stuff like this early is that much bigger though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true. Like that, it doesn't necessarily say that much, right? Because if they sold 15,000 in 10 minutes, because there were like 15,000 crazy, crazy raging fanboys, and then they sell 20,000 total.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
It clearly doesn't tell the whole story, but I guess I'm surprised to see even that kind of pent up demand that like there were that many people like waiting to pre-order a Vive. I wouldn't have thought that. Like I would never have guessed that the numbers were like that. But that's great. I mean, I want VR to have like cool, awesome applications that make me want to get one. So the more of those we have in people's hands, the sooner that becomes reality.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think VR is one of those things that's like G-Sync, where some people don't think they need it, and then the moment they try G-Sync, they're like, holy shit, like, I need to buy this right now. Like, there's so many skeptics out there just like, I don't think I'd really like enjoy. I don't know if I'd enjoy this, or I don't know if I'd like G-Sync, and then they try it, and then, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things.
I think that's a pretty good analogy, but I actually think that's why something like G-Sync has not gone mainstream, because they haven't done a good job at convincing people why they need it.
Yeah.
And like it costs so much more and all of that. Like that's the thing is I think VR can't reach that really low price point yet, and so they have to combat against a high price and then also something that you can't really show in a video. Like you have to literally see it. Same thing with like G-Sync is the same thing, right? You have to just like literally look at a monitor in person and be like, oh wow, that one looks a lot better, at certain frame rates. But yeah, I think it's the same kind of thing. But luckily, VR has, I think, smarter business people behind it at most of these companies than the G-Sync initiative did.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right,
just a little side note before we move on, since we're talking about VR. Not really related, but did you guys see that Six Flags partnered with Samsung to start putting like virtual reality on like a lot of their rides?
I
just thought that was
cool.
Interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, I did not
imagine
see that.
like getting on a roller coaster, then putting on a headset, like shows you're on like a moon or something like that.
I mean, that sounds
that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's actually, I actually forgot to mention. I went to Disney and Universal Studios when I was in Orlando for Extra Life, and I hadn't been to Universal Studios in a long time, but I went on several of the rides, and some of them are like a good portion of their rides are just like you're kind of in a car or something, and then you're wearing like 3D glasses and just kind of like so there's this movement element, but then you're just looking at these 3D animations that like come at you, or you're like dodging something, and that actually kind of feels like basically the precursor to VR. Like it's an experience that if it was in VR, it would just be better. It would just be better than, but like they don't obviously haven't had VR for that long in this way. So that's like the precursor to VR is these like 3D rides where things come at you and stuff. And so I think that's actually probably maybe even like the next frontier, like even before it goes mass market, could be like, the Six Flags or Disney or Universal or someone has like theme park rides that have this really cool VR application, but you can only do it by riding the ride. Like they won't let you download it, there's no way to get it except for riding it at the theme park. Like that would be kind of cool.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Like you get on a roller coaster, and then you're in like Columbia from like Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to experience birth again.
God.
Well, that's a very specific desire.
That's a very specific sexual fetish you have, Brad.
It's not sexual fetish.
Oh, come on. Katie.
I
I know
didn't
I know that you
connection,
only
but
said that to me in confidence, but I really have to
Katie's
say
in
it.
thinking like, oh, I could be in like the Bioshock world. I could be in the Mario world. And,
Yes,
and Brad is like, I want to experience birth again.
I want to fly out of a vagina at like 80 miles an hour.
I want to experience what it's like to be inside of my mother again. And actually, you know what they could do, Brad? Maybe they could actually like run some tests on your mother and actually get like an image of what it would have looked like back when she had you, and they can customize the experience or the ride directly for you, Brad. So you can feel like what the inside of your mother's womb was like.
Is that kind of like the Dying Light, like $1 million?
Yeah, it's like a really
roller coaster. Damn.
Man, yeah, I feel like we could go real far with this.
Big money for that.
Like at the test track ride, you customize your car. You know, do you want it to be like a speedster? Do you want it to have good handling? Like, you could do the same thing with a ride like this. Like, tell us what your mother looks like.
I'm not gonna lie. I would pay money to be inside Brad's mother in VR as a child, not as a child. Like I want to feel what Brad experienced. If he's gonna go that way, that sounded wrong.
I really wish Brad's camera was on.
Yeah, I know. So I can see his.
I want to see his face.
Still can't
Oh
find it.
man! Hey, he opened Pandora's box. He said it, so it's not me. All right. I guess Brad left the cast. So anyway, we got to talk about. We've got one more quick hit to talk about, and this is the fact that Ubisoft may have recycled Far Cry 4's map in Far Cry Primal, and before you say no way, that I can't imagine Ubisoft ever doing anything like that. No, you're stand-up guys, dude. Don't you use Uplay? It's the best fucking thing in the world.
They do new stuff every year. What are you talking about?
I would have you go to the Game Pressure article, and if you actually look, and they basically did the overview of both maps, and then just circled the areas of key interest, and it just glancing at it, even without like diving into the virtual world yourself, it looks almost.
It just goes to
so
show
similar.
that like
It's
companies
so
like Ubisoft are so comfortable with recycling games anymore,
Yes,
and people are willing to like pre-order shit now that like they know that. Like I've read some of the reviews for this too. It's like gameplay's okay. It's missing some features from previous editions, but it looks nice. Like it's like I should definitely just dump $60 into this. But now it's gotten to the point they're like I said, they're so comfortable that they could just literally take the same map, change a couple things here and there, make it look pretty.
Totally.
Now they don't even have to really do a comprehensive story because they're literally fucking primates. Like Neanderthals.
It's true.
So
they are in this one. Yeah. God damn it.
I'm sure there is a story, but I'm just saying that like it just seems so little effort.
So I really like what the article though, because it goes. You could argue that this is just a coincidence. Once you look again, if you're listening to this, it'll be linked if you went on the website like for this article. But look at the top down of the map perspective and everything's circled. It's. I mean, it does look like a straight lift, obviously with some things altered, but you could argue that it's a coincidence, but it's hard to say what was the idea behind the decision because, you know, the Himalayas in Central Europe are like, I don't know, like thousands of kilometers apart or, you know, so it's like, again, like why they couldn't come up with, I mean, and again, I'm sure saving time, Brad, you know, I'm sure it was very easy for them
just
because they already had their basic
out or whatever, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not, God.
So yeah, in the article it said like for this to be a coincidence, okay, but then like I guess they even went as far as like making sure like they had a village in the same place in this game as they did in like Far Cry 4. So I mean they deliberately just retextured things, changed the dialect or dialogue, and just like looks good, push it out. Like I don't know, it just
we got bears.
Yeah.
They'll buy it. Don't worry.
That should be the slogan for Far Cry Primal. We've got bears.
Like, I make that joke, but I like working in retail. Yeah. It is fucking true. People will buy anything with Assassin's Creed Far Cry on it.
I think the counterpoint to this though is like I think I saw Dave Ostrey tweeting about this that people, you know, like developers recycle assets all the time, and sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. But like, you know, they can't, if they're having to make new art for everything, then like that slows down, you know, actually releasing the game. And so it's one of those things where like if you're actually the one making the game, there are so many different trade-offs, and you could say, okay, well, do you want us to come up with entirely new art assets, or do you want us to release a game, you know, this year?
Sure.
And so I think for me, I think the damning thing is that it does look so direct, like the whole map, right? It's not like a part of the map.
No.
It's like you can actually trace the silhouette of over, you know, almost every piece of this map. And I think that seems to be what people have a problem with, is that like it's not like you took. I think it's very different to say like you took a texture, you know, from a house in a previous game and use that texture on a house in your new game. I think that's.
I mean, we'd be lying if we said like nobody did that, because literally everyone does that. Like the Battlefield series,
right? Like
Assassin's Creed, and stuff like that.
If you're putting a lot of time into like simple textures, then yeah, that does get expensive. Like, you know, someone has to make a good like brick mesh and, you know, wood and all of these different things that we take for granted in the game itself. But someone had to actually create that, and that does take a lot of time. Yeah. But I think that to me feels different than being able to like overlay the old map on the new map and point out places that are completely the same. Now, granted, I have not played, you know, Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, me neither.
I've not actually seen like screenshots aside from this overhead map. I haven't seen if they've been able to say like, oh, look, you know, these exact textures in this spot are the same as the old game. Now, if they're completely different textures, if they just took like the shape, I don't know why they would have done that. But if they just took like the shape because they didn't want to come up with a new terrain mapping and decided the rivers should be in the same place, like, I guess that's pretty forgivable. But that doesn't seem like the case.
It does look pretty bad. Yeah, just looking at it, it's pretty rough. So okay, well, anyway, again, I'm gonna file this though under things that that would not shock me coming from Ubisoft. Not you know, and again, you're saying, Brand, obviously assets get recycled all the time, but yeah, this is just seems like it would be another level, if true to the extent that people who have played the game
also,
think
I mean,
that it is.
even if it is, I don't think it's that big a deal, right? Because if it's not, if they recycle, you know, if they recycle so much that it looks exactly like the previous game, then no one would buy it. So I think it's like, as long as you're reusing assets, but you're using them in a way that still makes the game feel and look fresh. Like, let's say you didn't know that you didn't see this overhead map. If you can walk through the entire game and not recognize that some of the assets are the same as the previous game, then I think it's probably fine. It's just that, like, we live in an age of internet detectives, and everyone's gonna find everything. And so, like, I don't know. It's one of those things that it's like, if I play through the game and I couldn't tell that they had recycled some of these assets, then does it really even matter? Like, maybe not.
Yeah. I would be like truly shocked if it was just as simple as like, let's load up the Far Cry 4 map and then just start changing.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably what they did as far as the base. I feel like that we already have this to work with. You know, we'll just tweak some things for this game.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying about like assets, like reusing assets being totally fine if it fits the game. Like I remember there's like a screenshot for Dark Souls 3, and there was some guy in the comments like, I can't believe they used the same plank shield from Dark Souls 1. That's so lazy. What does this say about the game? And then, like, they can put their effort into something like more worthy of their time, I guess.
Yep.
Right.
It's all time and money. I mean, that's really all it is.
Well, time is money, Brandon. But yes, absolutely.
That's true. Getting very existential.
Yes, let's get existential about this. But totally.
I think on the topic of just, you know, really high quality and original games, we're gonna jump into the new releases.
Perfect segue.
I think my most anticipated game of 2016.
Fucking kill me.
There's poop in my soup.
That is the name of the game.
Yes. And now, Katie, we will allow you to take this section away.
I want to stress that I browsed through for new releases this week, and I saw There's Poop in My Soup. And I thought about giving it the time of day, just like I do with like every, you know, visual novel I see. I thought about just like I saw a game.
With every poop in your soup.
No, I mean I saw a game that was like a visual novel with, you know, and they're all named after battle tanks, and I skimmed over that. But then I see shit like There's Poop in My Soup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the description of this reads: There's Poop in My Soup is a physics-based game about a little boy who God damn it.
He didn't
Come
put
on.
this in.
About-
I put this in, by the way. Like, I had to throw it in.
Yeah. Brad put this in. A physics-based game about. I'm gonna try and read this without breaking. It's a physics-based game about a little boy who likes to poop on passersby.
By the way,
Causes much
period.
damage-
By the way,
Period,
period.
yes.
And then this
Yeah.
description is horribly written, but yes.
Cause as much damage as you can to the streets below. Unlock power-ups and new projectiles
What?
by completing your. God, I don't want to say it.
Do it.
By
do it.
completing your to-poo list. Kill me.
Oh no.
Kill me.
The trailer. I mean, just watching the gameplay. Good
As
lord,
we,
dude.
as we scroll down to the about this game, it says the game features 3 locations and loads of characters to poop on. Please feel free to let us know what other features you'd like to see in the game. Space, period. Jesus.
God. Another, you know what? Listen, hey, Steam Greenlight. Thank you, Steam Greenlight community. I always love seeing the little thumbs up with the community helped pick this title by voting for it
You
in the
bet
Steam
they
Greenlight.
did.
Oh, this has definitely got Steam Greenlight written all fucking over it, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
You know, it looks like there's more than just soup. There's also
Yeah.
like ice cream. It seems like you have many
Children.
different locations for which you can try to aim.
Absolutely.
In the trailer, it looks like you send a bomb of poo,
Yeah, there's like,
Like,
bigger
clear
versions.
them out by waves. It's,
Totally.
Why are they all naked?
Because they.
Well, they know they're about to get dirty, so you might as well just skip a step.
Oh God.
I like how the kid has an ass for a face.
Oh, wait, I didn't even notice.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, honestly, you need look no further than like this as the reason why PC gaming is so great. As dumb as this is,
I mean,
like,
yeah,
do you
true.
really want to live in a
Never
world
get this.
where there's not a game called "There's Poop in My Soup"?
I mean, I guess not.
Yeah.
Creativity is alive and well.
All right,
Yeah,
Brent. I'll give you that one, but I'm still not going to buy it or play it. But
No, of course
Yes.
not. Of course, absolutely not.
just the fact that it exists, I see what you're saying.
I want to live. I want to
You're
live in
right.
a world where someone thought this was worthy of their time.
Just
I do.
Oh, all right.
I do want to point out it in the languages section, they have like, interface, full audio, subtitles. It has full audio for English, French, Italian, German, the
Wow.
whole gambit. I mean, that's
impressive.
You know-
there's some genuine effort there.
Well,
No,
that's,
and I
that's
bet you- I
impressive.
bet you
or
the
maybe
actual-
that means they don't have an interface, audio, or subtitles.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay.
Or there's
I-
or there's one line of dialogue or like in the entire game or something like
God damn it.
Well,
I'm actually not sure what's going on with this game because it was supposed to come out the 3rd.
Yeah,
Mm.
I was gonna comment on that. The release date
It's the
says March
6th.
3rd.
that. And it's
Then-
definitely not out yet.
It's not out.
Anyways, sorry.
if there's
No.
one game that is ripe for user-defined tags, for comedic effect, it would be this game. But there's nothing. There's just indie and casual.
Yeah, they really.
They are really missing an opportunity there. Greenlight community, I am disappointed in you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always disappointed, but I'm even more disappointed this time in you guys. But
I feel like there's no chance Scott doesn't get this from a viewer. And get forced
oh
to
yeah,
play it.
sent to me. No, probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Someone will give that to me, and I say that I won't play it, but I'll probably load it up for a second and then close it after like 2 minutes. But I might actually give this a try, just to because I'm still trying to figure out exactly. Like you clearly just get points depending on how many people you splatter with your poop. So, I mean, again, I can't pretend that I'm above that kind of humor at all because I'm really not. If anything, this is right in my wheelhouse and my viewers' wheelhouse. So we'll
You just
see.
want to make sure that the gameplay is there, like fully fleshed out.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Fully fleshed out.
Well, and on to another indie title.
Yes, a small.
Oh
one.
yeah, another. It's a bit obscure. You might not have heard of it, but
Yeah.
The Division comes out on March 8th. I don't know about you guys, but I will definitely be renting this from your local family video. But
yes.
did any of you play the beta or get a chance to like try it out?
I wasn't interested, honestly.
Same. I didn't. I
Yeah,
just
me
wasn't
neither.
interested. I know a lot of people though that actually, not a lot of people, but I know a mixture of people that have said that they like it especially in a group environment. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Sham made a very interesting video about it, or we talked about it when he was on 2 weeks ago. But that was just the beta, so we'll see how the
description for their game talks about Black Friday, but they're not releasing on a Friday.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that is such a miss.
What is their marketing team doing? Not only are they not releasing on Black Friday, which would be the true marketing paramount for this game, but they're not even releasing on a Friday. I can't even get into this game.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. The marketing, just the marketing inadequacies just turn you off to it.
Yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah. I'm like, they haven't even tried to get me to buy into the lore of the game. We're talking about this game. We're talking about Black Friday, a devastating pandemic sweeping through New York City. But I've got to talk about that on a Tuesday when this game comes out.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't it get delayed a bunch? I bet that's what they're originally going for the game come out on Black Friday.
That's what I mean, right? You got to roll with the punches, marketing team.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Should have waited another 6 months. But other than that, on the 11th, the new Hitman comes out. The new the reboot, the first episode of that, which I'm honestly not interested in at all because I haven't played any of the Hitman games.
Hitman is one of those games that I like the premise behind it, but I haven't played many of the games themselves because a lot of times they'll come out and the reviews are kind of like, not great. But I like the idea. I would love to have a good Hitman game, but I don't know if that'll be this one.
Yeah, I'm the same. I played a few. I'm not like a huge fan of the franchise like some people are. We had commented on this too. This has they're releasing this episodically, right? Isn't it still happening?
Yeah, it's episode.
So you can buy the pass for $60, or you can buy the first episode for $15.
That's right.
I think.
Or it's prologue and Paris episode.
Yeah, I think you get 2. I saw that there are 6 releases throughout its life cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I don't know. But March 11th, you can get your hands on that, and also on the 11th, PC players can finally get their hands on WWE 2K16, brother.
You know what? You laugh, but God, wrestling games are so fun. I might. I'll take a look.
It was so broken, wasn't it?
Yes, it was insanely broken. So
I think the last one I played was old school SmackDown versus Raw 2008 on the PS2. It's just making abominations. It was crazy.
Yeah, the last I think it was 2K15 was just fucking. I think it was that one that was just terrible. It was awful.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this one will be any better, but yeah, we'll see. Definitely might have to pick this up for Fight Night to play against Diction if it's respectable.
Cool. You definitely have to make your characters for that one.
Yes,
if there's any way you can do that.
That would be fun.
Or if it even has online multiplayer, I wouldn't think that it would.
I mean,
I bet.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I would think, in today's day and age, they would have to have something.
Wouldn't it have to?
You would think it would.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm looking at
culling. Also
this is multiplayer.
This week.
Yeah.
Look at the about this game. It's got the Terminator pack.
The culling already came out, by the way. They actually released early, which is something rare.
Oh, that's right. Anymore. That's right. They did. I've seen a lot of talk about that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically I don't know, it's like a futuristic battle royale. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, from gameplay that I've seen, that's basically what it feels like. Yeah.
That came out this week. Yeah. But that was I don't know, any other interesting titles that you guys think of?
I hear Stardew Valley's pretty good. I hear Slime Rancher. I don't know how far behind I am on that one. That's when
Slime Rancher came out, I want to say a month or 2 ago.
Okay, yeah, I'm way behind.
Stardew Valley, though, is pretty interesting from what I understand if you're a Harvest Moon fan or Animal Crossing or anything like that. So that should be interesting. But
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has been out for a bit as well, in case you want to revisit that on Xbox 360.
Oh, I forgot to pick up my pre-order. You think they still have it?
Yeah, they're probably still holding it at your local
as long
family
as you have
video.
your receipt.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll have to dig for that one.
All right, we should get into some viewer questions here. Our first one comes from Flanzy, and he asked us, if had to permanently swap faces with someone, who would it be and why?
I think this came from a series of tweets for which they were face swapping a barn door mask with their real face.
Yes, I saw that. I responded to that, and it was one of the more terrifying things I've ever seen. That face swap with the barn door mask.
I can't condone that, because especially like, I mean, a small child may happen to come across their feed.
Exactly.
At some point, it's frankly not suitable for minors.
It was scarring. I had nightmares. Yeah, it was terrifying. Permanently face swap with somebody. That's hard. I mean, that's a big deal. I feel like
the question is, if you were to face swap with someone, do you think you would have to, like, would people mistake them for you? So like, if I said oh, I'm gonna face swap with, but
I think it's literally a face swap. Like you get
but not body. Like just face, right?
Oh man, that's hard though, because I don't know how someone would react if, like, let's say if I just chose someone notable, like Leonardo DiCaprio. Right?
And you just took his face.
And I just switched his face. Like, would people recognize that it's not Leonardo DiCaprio?
Right.
Like, because it's still my body. So
I feel like people would feel like something's a little off, but
that's the other thing too. Like, can you imagine
am I even swapping hair? Like, technically, I'm not. I'm just swapping.
Face swap.
Can you imagine like Leonardo DiCaprio just waking up and he has fucking barn door as his face?
And it's not even, and it's the KBMOD A barn door.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be actually amazing.
Really?
He'd win so many more Oscars though if he had that, because he would win them in spite of his very interesting
his roles
facial
would be
features.
so much more versatile.
They would. Man, permanently swap faces with anybody. I mean, that's so difficult. Just to pick one. I mean, obviously, I would want to be someone that's like super attractive, because that'd be a huge upgrade for me. So, but again, like you're saying, also body type. I think it would be best for you to swap with if like you're looking for a face upgrade or to become more attractive. I would have to find someone that is like my body type or size, but is just like super attractive in the face, and then that way I could be mistaken probably for that person, right? Like, because I could, like, if you're just gonna swap with like some actor who's super ripped or whatever else, then that's not going to be like you said, Brandon. I don't think people are going to fall for that.
Yeah, you got to focus on like actual facial features.
Right, just facial features. Oh man,
I don't know. I actually think my answer would be like, I want to face swap with just some guy, like just some attractive looking guy, like a good looking face, but no one outside of his normal family or circle of friends knows who he is, because I don't want to get recognized or like misrecognized for being someone famous or something like that. Like, just let me pick some anonymous guy, with like a face that looks better than mine, not a high bar.
Sure.
And then cool. Now I'm just straight up upgrading.
Yeah.
In terms of facial.
Yeah, I don't know
features.
if I could pick somebody super specifically. I was just thinking, if I just wanted to destroy my life, I would love to have to do face. I don't know. Wouldn't love, but if I hated myself, I would face swap with Rosie O'Donnell. Just have Rosie O'Donnell's face. And
actually, that would be interesting, because like you'd be swapping for female facial features.
Totally, yeah, and you could swap with anybody. So swap with a female could be interesting.
Is this
also,
because you've been putting on makeup and stuff lately?
It says someone. I have okay, Brad.
That's
let's not
true.
talk about that. But it doesn't say. It says with someone. I guess assuming person. But couldn't you swap with an animal too? I mean, are we only talking people here? Because people do face swaps with their
someone.
It says someone.
Someone. Okay, fair enough. I was going to open it up.
That's a weird place for you to go to.
I don't know. I was just thinking. Like,
Can
you imagine having
swaps?
your dog's face?
I don't want to think about that.
We're talking about upgrades here. You think your dog is more attractive than you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm getting away from the upgrade. I'm just saying now.
We need to get you some self-esteem, man.
Oh, my dog, pretty boy.
I'm self-deprecating, but wow, that's another level.
I always said if I looked half as good as my dog. I don't know what this voice is. I don't know what's going on. All right, Brad, what's your answer? You have one?
I had a couple of mine. My first one was Rick Astley.
Oh man.
But then my second one was like, maybe I would be the Hutch from YouTube, so people would stop.
Oh, that's the best answer there.
That's a good answer.
But you're just his face. So like the people behind you would have no idea, but you turn around and you can introduce yourself frankly as either one.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good one, Brad. That's a good answer.
Those are my picks.
I was thinking people accuse me of trying to replace Hutch. So even if I just got Hutch's
Ooh,
face
I
on
like
this
where you're
body,
going. I
people
am
do
Hutch.
The same thing. I'm like, I turn around like APL. I am Hutch. But they're like, no, that's took his face.
You actually
Finally.
replaced him.
Like
You
I couldn't
are
be more
him.
opposite than Hutch. Like height wise, he's like so skinny. Like it would truly, that would actually be horrifying. Actually, someone needs to face swap me, and I need to do a face swap with Hutch and see what that would look like. But it would be fucked up. But yeah,
I was
Brad,
thinking,
that's really
I don't even
good.
know what a good joke answer here is, because like if I were to say haha, I would face off with Guy Fieri. Like if you
Yeah.
remove Guy Fieri's frosted tips and like and like his just his whole ensemble, right, his shirts and everything, if you just take him at his facial features,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that funny. He's just like probably a normal looking guy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't. Wow. That's a tough question. Katie, do you have
I've
any
just been
in
thinking
mind?
of attractive men all this time. Like, I'm thinking of like and of course, hardballer
Yes.
is probably
Wait.
my first answer. But
Okay.
as far as
Alright.
like just a sheer upgrade goes,
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say your face and Hardballer's face actually do not look that different. I think you guys have like a similar kind of facial structure.
that's what I'm thinking.
I'm not
Like,
sure
I'm
if
trying
you
to
should
find
be
someone-
offended or not.
Really similar.
No, it's not. That's not an offensive thing. I'm just saying like your face, like kind of the shape of your face. You guys have similar. Like if you were to switch with Hardballer's face, I don't know that I would
I
recognize
see.
it immediately.
Yeah, it might take a minute.
I think I might have to settle on Linus Tech Tips.
You take Linus's face. Oh, I would love to see a Linus
It's
in
not
your
a bad
face
looking
swap.
face.
No, that's like a decent choice for a face.
Yeah, not bad.
Would you pierce your ears?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the series. Yeah,
I was gonna say, are you actually just saying you want to look like Linus Tech Tips? Like you're gonna have to do you're gonna have to do the hair like him. You're gonna have to pierce your ears. Okay.
Gonna have to have a beautiful Asian wife and.
You're just gonna replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
probably my answer.
All right. Some good answers there. Good question by iFlancy. All right. So this was this an email? Was this emailed into us, Brad?
This
one?
was an email, yes.
Okay. This one, I've been excited to read this one. All right. So I will read it exactly as it is written with no alterations as best I can. Okay. Hello, KBMOD. Hello, KBMOD. Simply put, what do you prefer? Euthanasia or Walt Disney's Fantasia? I am personally terrified of both. Kind regards and well wishes, Skeety Petey. Oh, which I think this is actually like,
And he
Actually,
included
looking
this
at this-
picture as
and
well.
includes this picture, which is yes, amazing. And actually, looking at this written out, it's actually like it's in a way it's like art. It's like beautiful. I know, like reading it, maybe it doesn't sound like it, but it feels pretty deep too. Because I think being terrified of euthanasia or Walt Disney's Fantasia, like being terrified of both of those things, makes a lot of sense actually. Because Fantasia has a lot of weird shit going on in it. So,
I just feel like this question is just like what happens when you have just this stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking of words, and then
Right.
you're like euthanasia, Fantasia.
And also the picture that he sent Brad is perfect, like too, because that also like you have to see the whole package with the picture because then it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, can we get a picture? Did you look at it in chat? We actually should have. I don't know. Maybe we could get a snippet or. It's it's fucking good.
Let's see.
I don't actually know what the picture is.
I don't know if it's
I
possible.
can't tell.
Yeah, I've seen that face.
I think it's a loaf of bread with eyes
Yes.
in it and a face.
I know that one of the people that I know learned to spell. This used to be his Twitter picture. Was somebody that is in here too. Sometimes I don't know where it's from though. But anyway, well done.
I mean, I guess on an objective scale, I am probably.
Fantasia.
He's saying, what do you prefer?
I
mean,
I would say
I don't want to be euthanized.
Yeah.
So
No, but I don't think it means that you would have to be euthanized. I'm
No.
saying that are you in favor of euthanasia? And I would say that I'm probably more in favor. If I had to say, what are you favorable towards in one of those polls where it's like, how do you feel from one to
Oh,
five?
I see.
Just
You're
like
Euthanasia,
saying,
general
what are you
Fantasia. I think
favorable
euthanasia,
toward?
I'm like a 4, and Walt Disney's Fantasia, I'm like at it like a 1 or a 0
Okay.
because I don't think
Because
about it.
who has Fantasia helped? Like, it's sure for that hour, it's a fun movie. But Euthanasia, there are countless pets that have been in a lot of pain that have been put out, of their misery. And so as far as like a general concept goes,
and I'm thinking
would
about
think
euthanasia
they're-
even for humans, like with Dr. Death and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
mean, hey, if someone wants to, if they're terminal at the end of their life, like, you know, hey, I think they should have that right.
And yeah, you definitely
yeah,
flip
I'm
this
down to
question
be
on its
euthanized
head
anytime.
with the
Yeah.
with the which are you more favorable toward? That's like, oh man, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge
That's why this
Fantasia
question
fan.
is so. That's why I thought the question was so brilliant too, because I'm like, honestly, like they don't seem necessarily. They're not exactly the same thing, but
No, they're in different arenas. But if I had to just if I had to say, do I prefer either of these? Yeah, I mean, euthanasia probably wins out. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't love
okay.
Fantasia. I frankly like the concept around Fantasia is frankly pretty terrifying.
did Brad in the chat? You linked the
Yeah.
image.
Yes.
It's so good with the image as you read it. Oh, okay. Anyway, again, yeah, I need to. If you watch live, you can interact with the chat and see all those beautiful photos. So, all right. Well done, Skeety Skeety, rather. All right. So this is from Vaginosaurus. I believe I'm reading that right. On Twitter.
Vaginosaurus.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Vaginosaurus. Yes. Vaginosaurus.
Vaginosaurus.
I just felt like vagina. Well, it's with a J. It's not with a. It's not with a G. So I don't.
Well, the G was probably already taken.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Vaginosaurus. We'll just allow it, I suppose. What fictional game would you like to see realized into some form of a real life game? Example like Counter-Strike, paintball, and actual CS maps with a single elimination per round format, or something like Quidditch, LARPing, or whatever the fuck those nerds call it. Okay.
Could they do Hearthstone? Like, is it possible?
Oh, that's
Because there are like some things.
yeah. Are you
Like-
you thinking like actually just Hearthstone with real cards, or are you thinking like
Yeah.
Are you thinking like when they play chess with people? You're thinking like let's play Hearthstone like life size.
You have to like have a group of people like to step in for like you know
Yeah.
the totems.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I was thinking the other thing, but that sounds a lot better. I'm gonna go.
I was
have
gonna
to go
say
with that
yeah. I
one.
mean I don't really care about real life card Hearthstone, but I would love life size Hearthstone
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
play with people.
Interesting.
I mean, the Counter-Strike paintball thing seems like I honestly
That's
don't know
actually
why
done.
there's not a
There
paintball
is.
place in every single town that does this.
Yeah.
That seems
totally.
like a license to print money.
I agree. Like paintball. I know that they've actually done. I've seen stuff on this. Like,
Yeah, I've seen like a
occasional
Reddit post. Yeah,
Totally.
I'm sure there's like one out there. I'm saying I can't believe that's
yeah.
not like the entire business model. Is hey, you like Counter-Strike? If you're looking up a place to go paintball, you've probably heard of Counter-Strike. Why don't you play on Dust 2?
Yeah. No, totally.
Didn't
Yeah.
they do that for like COD XP? They like did the
Yeah,
that one
exactly.
model for two
Odd
maps.
maps, which was
It's a good
cool.
idea.
That looked badass.
Yeah,
To be
it's
honest.
a really good idea.
I would have to
yeah,
go
like-
with Outlast Whistleblower. Just
Good God.
love to watch
You'd like
that.
to see
you know.
that. You'd like to see that in a competitive. Come to real life. Oh,
It doesn't
man.
have to be competitive.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We
I
could,
have-
you know, people, you know, serial killers instead of, you know, the death penalty, just
Yeah.
have them experience that.
Okay. Game wise.
For me, it's Rocket League.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Oh man.
You just need really fast RC cars and like a cage. It's basically just a cage. I mean, just make it
Yeah.
happen.
I'm thinking go to like a monster truck rally.
Yeah, make
have,
it.
like,
Bring it to.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're talking about like you're talking about life-size Rocket League, which in Rocket League terms, since they're
Yeah.
small cars, they would be like basically monster truck size cars. I can get on board with that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer. God, I don't know. Oh my God, someone just face swapped me with Rick Astley. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I'm just checking my Twitter. Brad, I blame you. But yeah, I don't know. All those answers are pretty solid. I don't know if I would have anything to add to that. Because he's saying it's not just competitive or anything. He's just saying anything basically from a fictional game world into real life, and that could have some seriously fucked up, obviously, consequences too. Kind of like your.
I mean, if we want to get
Okay.
real meta with this, like something like Super Hot, like let
Mm.
me
Oh,
slow
man.
down time
Yeah,
as I
yeah.
play this real life game.
I'm thinking Just Cause 2 multiplayer. Like think
Ooh.
about that playing out in real life. Just
Lord. Yeah.
I mean, but that's
Well,
the thing is like
yeah.
Just Cause 2 is like real life. It's just that you can't, you can't like jump on a plane wing and
Right.
I mean, are we just saying like you would rather the laws of gravity not exist? Because that's basically what you're saying. If like Just Cause 2 basically is a real life game, there's just like no real life qualifications.
You're right. I didn't think this through at all. I
feel like you're kind of taking the cheap way out. Like, oh, I would just like real life to be a game, but when I kill myself with
I like
a
Black
bazooka,
Ops 2. I want to play Black Ops 2 in real life. It's like that.
I would like it if I just was able to like grapple around the entire world. That would be a fun game.
All right. Well, we had some interesting answers.
My god! I saw the Photoshop. I'm sorry.
Oh God, yeah.
That's well done.
Thank you, Vaginosaurus, for that. Good question, though. All right, so this is in relation to. Are we killing that? Are we not doing this?
No, we can do it.
We have to do this just because I thought it was well written. So this is in response to the last podcast. I'm assuming this is an audio listener. And I'll just read it. And if you listen to the last podcast, I think you'll understand what's going on here. So, dearest Brandon, for the love of Odin, what kind of incompetent, incapable, snot-nosed man-child is so incapable that he puts his family and rig at risk with such reckless abandon and disregard for the safety of those in his home and lack of respect for his listeners? I, a filthy audio listener, have been driven up the walls, listening to episode 225 as the incessant peep, as the incessant peep chirps on in the background as Brandon's deep robotic Velcro-like voice graces my irreverent ear holes. Using my best audiophile sound beats by KD Vapes trademark, I have narrowed down the offender to Barn Door. His fire alarm is crying out in pain as it dies of starvation. In the name of the gods, go buy a damned 12-volt battery and fix the one device that asks nothing of you than a few precious drops of power in order to keep you and yours from death by asphyxiation. Wow. My question, and then he goes, my question for the cast is, what is your favorite cheese-based dinner item? Is it one?
What? We went all that way?
For what?
We went all that way for a fondue question?
Wow.
Cheese-based dinner.
Sorry, he's not done yet. Love the cast, R. Walski. And then he said, P.S. Katie Zen's new power-up for Barn Door Katie Zen, new power-up for Barn Door Simulator, trademarked. Okay. And then I guess he said, responsible biped, which is a 64-bit 12-volt battery, would have a 64-bit 12-volt battery icon.
Yes.
Then Barn Door would learn how to adult and gets +2 to perception. Wow.
Oh my god. I'm definitely gonna have to consider that because this is a godlike email.
This is really well done. I'm glad we get these occasionally. Well done, Walski. So, what is your favorite cheese-based dinner item? And he says it's fondue for him.
Why is it fondue?
No, I mean it's mac and cheese. That's been established.
We established this, yeah.
Cheese-based.
I mean,
is pizza considered cheese-based?
Would you consider like a grilled cheese? Cheese sandwich?
I guess that depends on, do you consider it the base? He's saying cheese-based dinner item.
Cheese-based, yeah. I mean, you're right. Mac and cheese is full.
The only fondue
have cheese on it, I would say, but
I mean, I think fondue, like typical fondue, is cheese, unless it's dessert fondue.
Yeah. The only fondue I've had in like recent memory is like I had Wendy's like loaded fries, and that gave me the shits for like an hour. So it's not fondue.
Wait, what? What?
Fuck fondue. I don't want to go through that again.
Sorry, but can I only say that if your only experience with fondue is via Wendy's?
Did you actually just say the loaded fries at Wendy's constitutes fondue?
Fondue is an art form if done properly, and you fucking went to Wendy's. I mean, no, they do call them. No, they do use the fondue or fondue in the advertising. So I think Katie.
Listen, that's
Did you really just tell us that the only time you've had fondue is on Wendy's loaded fries? That is not fondue.
well, and what is?
No, Katie. All right, hold on. Do we have to send an image? I mean, oh god. So fondue, generally you dip. I mean, it's just a cheese. It's a cheese sauce, right? Or
It's basically it's like melted cheese sauce, and you can like dip. So there's a restaurant called the Melting Pot where this is literally their whole concept is like
right. Yes,
there's a like plate or like a kind of big bowl of fondue, and it's hot, and you dip like bread and other like fruit and vegetables in the cheese, and then you eat it. And so the fondue is what's in this pot. It is there is no world I'm living on where Wendy's loaded fries can be called fondue in any sense of the word.
I think they do say fondue though in the advertising.
They do.
You should be.
They do.
I need you to be responsible and intelligent enough not to assert on this podcast that Wendy's has called something fondue and thus it is fondue.
Okay, listen. I'm speaking as a man with irritable bowel syndrome. Something like that. It gives me a bad impression.
Oh, I'm just so glad that whole thing happened. That Katie just goes, oh, that was amazing. All right, so well, I mean, with IBS, then Katie, then I don't think doing anything from Wendy's that says that it's fondue based or actually eating.
You should be on the lookout for things that are not as they seem. If you have IBS, and I mean the last thing you should be eating is anything called fondue from a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, don't buy it.
Okay.
I mean, now you know. I mean, I guess.
It's a learning experience. I can walk away saying
I'm
a young man. I've got a lot to learn about fondue.
Hey,
oh my god, they actually call them bacon fondue fries. I'm done.
Yes,
I'm never eating.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like
I
am never eating at Wendy's again.
Wow, look at that.
They didn't taste bad. I want to reiterate.
No, I don't care how they taste. The fact that they're saying these are fondue fries is it's a step too far.
Have you had them? Have you tasted them?
No.
No.
It's not about tasting it. It looks fine. It looks like an item I would eat if they called them bacon cheese fries.
Cheese
bacon
fries,
loaded fries.
You don't have to throw fondue on
Bacon
there.
fondue fries is an affront to my tastes. The fact that Wendy's is saying, listen, idiot, you've never had fondue in your life.
No, this is geared toward people like KD who have never experienced fondue.
Okay.
Like, no, I really do think
this
so.
is trying to pass off like you think it's like artsy and special because it's fondue fries. No, they're cheese fries. They're just calling them fondue.
Glorified cheese fries.
Okay. Well, they come when I ordered the fondue. They have them as like bacon cheese fries and then bacon fondue fries because they have cheese fries where it's just the yellow, and this is like the white stuff. And I'm looking at Google images of fondue.
Yeah.
And okay, well now I know. I mean, they tasted good.
I mean,
no, but see, that's the problem is that they tasted good, and so now,
but they just
now
call
you're
them
going,
fondue.
you're going around thinking like, oh, I like fondue because like these fries were good. It's like, no, you haven't even had fondue. You've had cheese fries.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Walski just killing. I mean, who knew?
Walski. The stars aligned with that
They
question.
really did.
I bet he didn't even know Wendy's had fondue fries, but he tweaked that nerve.
He actually just apologized and said that he didn't know this would break the cast. But no, well done.
You've done well.
You've done very well. From Katie himself.
For what seems like the subtext of his question,
that's definitely going in the.
I actually literally moved residences to fix the problem. So
there you go. All right. And there you go. Yes. So, all right, that's it for our questions. But man, they were good. I kind of am in favor of doing. If you guys can, I mean, again, these were three really solid email questions, or two solid email questions. Yeah. So,
well, I'll say the first one was on Twitter. The other three were email, and those are really solid email questions thought out.
I like
so
those.
Yeah, if you have a good like longer form question, or you're kind of telling a story or something, as long as the payoff is there, then it's a good contender for an email question.
Absolutely. So we have a review this week, which is exciting, and it seems like a pretty solid one. So Brandon, again, tell them how can they get on the cast?
Yeah, so we have we do this podcast live each week here on Twitch, but we also have an audio version on iTunes that even I myself from time to time listen to when I'm not on the cast. So if you haven't rated us already, we would love it if you would go to iTunes and log in and rate us 5 stars. Leave us a review, and it can be anything you want. I mean, as you'll see with this one here, sometimes you can tell us something that, frankly, is a very personal story that he probably would want to be left anonymous. But I don't think they enforce a real name policy on iTunes. So you can be anonymous if you like. We've had some good reviews, and as you can see, sometimes like it doesn't have to be earth-shattering stuff. But each week we do read one review, assuming we have one to read. And so please, Scott, take it away here.
Oh God! All right, I will attempt. Oh Jesus Christ! All right, this is the title of this review. Stop laughing. I'm not gonna get through it. All right, the title of this review is "It's Pretty Good," and it is by Bishop of Northeast Romania.
Oh, which
and it reads as follows.
No, I want it's an
Yes.
acronym. The Bishop of Northeast Romania.
That's nice. That's
I know.
pretty subtle.
I know what it actually. If you take the, I am getting it. Okay. All right. So listening to the KBMOD podcast tickles my ear vagina so sensually and in such a pleasurable manner that more often than not, I find myself with the ragingest of erections. An erection so fierce, gentlemen, that my member burst through my jeans with such earth-shattering ferocity, the likes of which no mere words can describe. Fortunately, the hole left behind is not that big, which is probably a good thing because my coworkers don't notice and I can keep my job. Bishop of Northeast Romania. If you haven't figured it out, if taken as it
if
is
you haven't
intended,
figured it out, then like you're not going to figure it out. Let's just,
yes, thank you. Yes, I'm not going to
you
say
have
it
all the
because
context
people,
you need.
people in chat have already figured it out. And wow,
I actually didn't, with the story and the name, I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
When he was talking about, apparently, like he's listening at work, and clearly he's having a reaction to the podcast. But I didn't realize he's a bishop.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
God,
That,
that killed me. Just thinking about that, like not even getting that it was
Wait,
boner.
no.
Thinking,
You know what? Actually, I don't know that I believe this whole story because he's talking about bursting through his jeans. What bishop wears jeans?
That's true. Maybe he's off duty.
It's like casual, you know.
Maybe he's.
But he said at his job, so he's clearly maybe he,
you know what? Maybe maybe he's not at mass. Maybe he's just like in the office, right? And maybe he's just like in jeans because he's not up in front of everyone. I don't know what all the duties of a bishop entail, but like I'm sure there are probably some casual days. Maybe some work from home style days. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic review though from the Bishop of Northeast Romania. Thank you so much. And it goes to show you that this podcast has fans in all different kinds of professions.
You get all kinds.
Truly global reach.
We have absolute global reach here. So, all right. Well, this has been episode 226. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want more KBMOD stuff, obviously you can go to kbmod.com. Check out Katie Zen's review of Downfall. That is up there, as well as obviously we have build guides, and there's all kinds of little good and nice goodies
content up there.
Yeah, there's some good stuff this past week. You can find all of us on Twitter. Obviously, you can follow KBMOD Gaming at KBMOD Gaming. On Twitter, you can follow Katie Zen at KatieZen18. Brad is at Hutchison15. Yes, he is Hutch from Respawn. And you can follow Volition at Volition, where it is VOL1TION. I will just spell it out for people. And I am at APL Fisher. And we'll be back. We'll be back next week with another cast. It was a fun one. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.
Yatta!